Melissa.
Well, it doesn't help if it says all.
Oh, hang on a second. I'm gonna come back.
Well, where's that?
I think so.
Hey, Zoom land. Can anybody see my screen, the Ignite slide?
Yes, I can see it.
Dead silence.
I can see it. Can you hear me?
So I got this copy, a little bit from Dave Asper.
Mm-hmm.
He has Sam, so I was like, oh, yeah. And then I got a keto coffee because I can use it in the thing. And I have NCTs, I'm like, in my, anyway. This one's the higher achiever and it's got lion's mane in it. I'm like,
Have you had it yet?
no, is it?
It is incredible. I always thought like maybe it's my mind playing, because I love Dave Asprey. I remember when he first came out. I love MCT oil. Lion's mane is crazy, and that stuff,
He's gonna send me over the edge.
I don't think so, but it really tunes you in. Like you hone in on what you're doing, and it is so weird. Like when I was studying for my exam, I would take it in the morning. I'd probably have 2 or 3 cups, and I was like, how am I just, when you're at home, like you're bent over, you get kind of unmotivated. And I would drink it, and it was like I was just so present, and it was like there's no way
Oh,
this
I
can
can't
be-
wait. I'm like,
Yeah.
hurry up. drink it now.
Yeah, that's really funny though, that
Yeah, I'm like, the higher achiever. So if you want one, I have my stash.
oh, I appreciate that. That's so
Oh.
kind of you.
We'll be on edge. All right, Zoom world. Anyone? Nikki, can you see the Ignite?
Yeah, I can see it.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Are you talking?
Yes.
Blink 3 times if you're talking.
Oh,
And there's a chat. Let's see what's going on. Can you hear me? No. I don't know if it's your problem or mine. Let me go adjust the, like blasting it through the whole market center. I'll
Yeah.
be like, Quinn,
Yeah.
you suck at teaching. Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
We'll be more
That's so
fine.
funny.
I don't like it when Michael comes in here and stands here. I get all nervous.
He did that
Can you
yesterday.
hear me now?
Dave!
Yeah,
Ah,
when Patrick was talking in here and it's like, and none
he
of
just lurks at the door.
Ricky or Patrick weren't doing anything. They just kept talking. It's like- I was just like,
Michael was talking or
no,
me?
he was just standing over here, very like.
I don't like it. Makes me nervous.
I am trying to speed up these last few hashtags so I can get this posted real quick.
Okay, can anyone hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
But I want to know if you can see my screen.
I wish I knew how that thing worked too.
Okay, so Solomon was here yesterday. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Nikki. But I still can't hear you. So,
Are they all here?
so Nikki is here. And, oh, 3 people are in the waiting room. Hey.
It's here.
Hi, here comes Tommy, here comes a Nick, might be Nikki, and Melissa. Okay, so now we'll have Anthony, Melissa, oh, she changed her name, that's what happened.
Can you hear me now?
Now I know why. Ricky couldn't find me. I'll be back in about 20 minutes, gonna go run out the door again, so that's cool. Okay. sounds
Yeah, I
good.
changed my name.
Okay. How is everybody today? Can anybody talk so I know I can hear you?
Hello, I changed my name.
Good morning.
Nick, I see you're unmuted. Say something.
I'm not muted. Hello?
Oh, I can't hear you.
I can barely hear you
I'm
either.
trying to figure out if it's on my side or your side. But I couldn't hear Nikki either.
See, I have to turn, let's see, volume.
Hold
There's
on,
my-
conversation. We're gonna go get,
I can hear
Amy.
you. I think it's something on their end.
Really?
Do you want me to go get her?
Helicopter killed me?
I don't think they can hear anyone that's on Zoom.
How did a helicopter kill me? A helicopter killed me.
oh, you asked for multi-year trends, right? Yeah, here you go.
Know where my volume button is.
Just the power on here. Okay, that's all. Okay, now say something, Nick.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Something. Yay!
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.
I can't find volume for you guys, though. I can barely hear you. I mean, I hear you, but it's so quiet. I just don't see any volume buttons.
That was the problem with Ricky yesterday, and I felt like he was yelling the whole day. Did you all?
Yeah, sometimes he would get quiet, but yeah, he was yelling.
'Cause I was on Zoom yesterday and I was like, what's he saying?
I found volume buttons on my computer that I'm pushing upwards. This is just a screen share. I think I'm good now. I can see your I see your computer screen is on Ignite session 3.
Wait,
Who's talking?
Nick.
Oh.
Who's talking?
Who's that?
So
Who
then
was
there's Melissa. Okay, everybody do a sound check. Ready? We
Is
know
that
you're-
Zach?
Yep,
Yeah.
From
alarms
above?
himself.
All right, so there's Melissa. Nikki went to take her kiddo to school. Anthony, well, you heard him yesterday.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, Coolio. How was yesterday? Tell me about it.
I missed it.
Get out. You're in detention, nose in the corner. I don't know.
I'm pretty familiar with that space.
All right. That's awesome. I love it. So Melissa, what do you think about yesterday?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Pretty general. Okay, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, no, I don't like honesty. Don't do
No,
it.
no, this has nothing to do with Ignite. I was dragging a lot yesterday. I just felt really exhausted, so I feel like I probably didn't get as much out of it as I could have yesterday, and that's all personal.
Okay, so can I share something with you?
Yeah, I'm
This is
sorry.
a class that you'll take more than once.
Okay.
So don't even sweat it, because guess what? Have you ever heard that, that saying that says that you never step in the same river twice?
Mm,
Yes,
because you're a different person today than you were yesterday.
And that's,
So when you take Ignite again or teach it, because that's what we'll eventually rope you into.
right.
When we do that, then you'll get it more deeper. you know,
And-
more
and-
deeply.
And to be fair, I've taken many leadership classes, and so I've gone through a lot of this stuff over and over again, but I just had to be honest because I feel bad answering that question because I know that I just didn't have a lot to say in response to that, but I'm more awake today, so my apologies.
No, don't worry about it. Seriously,
Can
I'm
I-
gonna
can I-
figure this out.
Can I ask, is it gonna be different? I took the Ignite back in, gosh, I think it might have been October a year ago, or it might have not been that long ago. I have all these packets I printed out the last time I took Ignite.
Yeah,
Is it different material this time? Because the resources that were in the email that was sent to me last night are different.
yeah, they changed Ignite. We do that every once in a while just to mess with people.
Gotcha.
So it is a little bit different. Probably the same content, it's the way we deliver it.
Gotcha. So I should
Yeah.
print out all the new, like I have all the Ignite Elementals and Ignite Spark packets that I printed out last time I did this.
Oh yeah, I don't think we have Spark anymore.
Okay,
See that? So I'm gonna say, if you like paper, you need to print it. If you don't care about the paper part of it, just follow along, because like I said, the content's gonna be the same relatively to the market. You know, they adjust as the market changes. And I don't know what y'all can see. I'm looking over here because that's where your face is, and I'm an eye watcher when I talk to somebody. So you're probably gonna see this side of my head a lot, because I'm looking at y'all if we're engaging. So, I can't say, hopefully it's as good as it was in October.
we'll see. I mean,
I think it was pretty good yesterday.
Pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna make excuses already, so y'all know. I did 2 listing presentations on Sunday. One of them wanted to go live by Wednesday.
Oh my
And the other one, thank God, was okay with the 3rd week in October. And yeah, so I was with the photographer while I wasn't here. And then running around, literally the 2 girls and the wife were swiffering backing out of the front door. They're never ready. Don't send your photographer without you. And then, because they're never ready, and some photographers won't lift a finger. This photographer had no idea what to do. He was just new. I mean, I like the company a lot, but I asked for this one photographer, but because everybody asked for him, he wasn't available.
Was that the one on Facebook you just posted?
Yeah,
Okay, it looks pretty.
yeah. And so then we looked at 2 comparables, actives, because that's gonna be their competition.
Mhm.
And then I couldn't get into the 3rd one, but then I could see exactly why they priced it where they were, and sent all that data to my seller, and we still had to do an amend. So anyway, all those are my excuses of
Wow.
why this might be a little rocky.
Hey, that's okay.
I typically teach at the end of Ignite where there's negotiating. I really like the negotiating piece. So let me see if I can get this thing to work.
I asked because the screen says session 3. Did I miss the front 2 classes on this round?
Yeah, Ricky did those yesterday.
Oh, he did 2 in one day.
Yeah, we're all gonna do at least 2 in one day.
Gotcha.
But
Okay,
today is session 3 and 4.
gotcha.
So session 1 and 2, it was a lot about culture, a
Generally
lot
the same.
about, yeah, that's probably exactly what you heard in October. How did this work?
Ricky was just using the mouse yesterday.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. More technology to learn.
That was still happening last October, so don't feel bad.
Oh, no, because they changed it and then.
That's no good.
Perfect. Okay, is this,
Oh, if you keep going, there's like 3 more. Yeah, there's the start.
I'm
That
like, this is my stuff, not your
Yep.
stuff. Don't tell me what I should have already done. I know what I should have already done. So there. All right, I'm a walker. I gotta get this out of here. I'm gonna trip myself up. Y'all are gonna miss it. Can you see me at all? No, not unless I'm way over here. Hey, hi. Oh, it looks so tiny. Dude. Oh, well. So I didn't dress up for you, so you're not missing anything. All right, so today we're gonna talk about how the local market, what the local market looks like and how to identify what is happening in your market. And the more you know about your market, the more educated you're gonna look. Whether you are or aren't, you're gonna look more educated to your potential client.
Love it.
But I'm gonna say, there's a caveat here. When your brand's thinking new, don't tell them you're super educated. It's okay not to know everything. Because your seller wants to feel a connection to you too.
Sure.
So, oftentimes, I'm probably skipping ahead, but, oftentimes the seller's like, yeah, but this house and blah, 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 blah. There's no way that you would know that has sold and what it looks like inside unless you've been there. And then can you really compare it? Because you haven't seen the house that you're sitting in yet. So be like, oh yeah, I did see that briefly, but until I see your house, I really didn't know how it compared. So I couldn't. So you see how that is? You're just gonna push off how things compare and stuff like that.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna show you how to build your expertise, learn about your market, how to learn about your clientele.
Gwen, just
Oh,
keep drinking that coffee.
I know, right. Keeping your headlines in context. Zach and I were already talking about, this tells you to listen to the media. Okay, well, Gwen's not gonna tell you that, but I do get how you need to know what the media is saying and then stop listening to it, in my opinion. Because they are not a source of positivity, typically. And then we're gonna talk about the KW app, the Command app, and establishing your business on social media,
Perfect.
and then how to pepper in some other things that way, as well. Okay, so that's our agenda. If we don't cover that, we'll cover it next quarter. No, I'm kidding. It's okay, it's all right. Okay, so if I have to be here or have to be there, I can't be both, and I don't know how to do this. All right, so I already went through this. Look at that. Look at where we are now. All right, so if it's been done in another market, it can be done in your market. Once it's been done, no matter where, it's just a matter of finding out how it can be possible in your world. I love that because I'm a podcaster. I listen to a lot of different things, and some of it's real estate, some of it's not. But if you look at like Brian Buffini, he's in California, Southern California. He's seeing people across the country. He knows what's working, and he knows that it's working in different markets. Bigger Pockets has Michael Green, I think it's Michael Green. David Green is his name, and he's with KW. And I want to say he's in Washington State. He's got some great content, and not because he's KW, but because he's out there doing business. So find out what they're doing. We're all about the R&D, rip off and duplicate. And if you like the way somebody's doing their business, copy it, but find out how to do it. There's some things that you have to, if they're doing it in like, let's say, I think South Carolina, North Carolina, they take escrow money. And when everybody was clamoring for properties, this escrow money is non-refundable. It's not like earnest money.
Mm-hmm.
You have earnest money also. It seriously felt like, I'm gonna say drug money, but it felt like ransom money. Please, like this is your firstborn because you're never getting it back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, when I learned that, I was like, what? Are you sure you don't mean blah, blah, blah? Nope, that's not how it works. And it's non-refundable. typically in a market like we have now, it was 500, maybe $1,000. There, it was tens of thousands of dollars people were willing to put up, and they would never get it back. Well, how secure is that contract?
So what is the purpose of escrow money
I
versus?
don't know what the original purpose was, but I
Okay.
think now it makes sure that people aren't gonna, back out. No, it can't come in now. No, I'm teasing.
How's it going, man?
Some professors have that rule.
Yeah, no,
Nope,
That's
sorry,
funny.
sorry.
No, no.
No, I work with a guy who did that. He locked the doors.
Oh,
And
seriously?
here, and, you know, because
Yeah,
I was a
you
college
must have been a
professor.
big deal. I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
Gwen's got jokes too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, It's like, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. There's just.
How's it
no
going,
way.
man?
David, right?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to
I'm
meet
Gwen.
you.
I saw you at Top Golf, but we
Oh,
didn't get to.
yeah, totally, yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Terrific. Well, we're just barely getting started, so you really
Okay.
haven't missed a whole ton. Me stumbling over the stool. Okay, so before I get too far. Apologies, my coach tells me, don't apologize for stuff. I'm like, oh, I
It's
don't like
hard.
apologizing. It's fine. I'm comfortable with it, but I have a coaching call 11:30, so
Okay.
we'll probably skip some stuff, ad lib some stuff. I'm not really a by the book or by the sheets
Love it.
type of person, period. You'll hear people say, Ricky says it all the time, high Ds, high Is. He knows those two because he's not a high D and he is a high I. He just loves the people part and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got your introverts and extroverts and how talking to people really comes into play. And it does matter in this.
Mhm.
And then I learned of a Colby index, which I just took that with my coach, and that says that I'm low on I need data to move. Some people, I'm thinking that Melissa might be a high data mover, because she was talking about the numbers yesterday.
Oh.
For me, I'm like, what? Okay, sure. And I'm running. Now, what are we doing? And I'm figuring it out as I go. So, if that bothers you, this might not be a fun class. That's how I do it. All right, so we're gonna go through how to pull out, how to know your market. One of the things is you need to know if you're in a buyer's market, a seller's market, or a balanced market. So who wants to give a shot on what each of those are?
I will.
Go for it.
I mean, I didn't just look at that.
Yeah.
Um,
Of course.
In a seller's market, it's typically when there's less, or there's like a house has been on the market for less than like 6 months or somewhere around there, right? Like houses typically go pretty quick. Buyer's market, there would be more inventory. Wait, okay.
Yep.
And houses would sit on the market a little bit longer
Yep.
than in the seller's market. And then neutral would just be neutral across the board.
Yeah.
It would,
And so would you guess that, are we ever balanced?
no, could it depend on the season, not season, but maybe like the socially economic.
It depends on a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And each state,
Mhm.
you might have a buyer's market over here, a seller's market over there, and a balanced market somewhere else.
Okay,
So it's not gonna be across the board.
Mhm.
I find most of the time, that balanced market is a transition period. You're just moving. It's like the pendulum. Pendulum's coming through, and at some point, maybe it slows through this balance, but it's on its way on the other side.
okay.
So I don't think that you really sit in that balanced market for very long.
Okay.
Anybody else have any thought on that?
Oh, they're tough. today.
Crickets?
Yeah, that's.
Come on, Melissa, I see your mouth moving, but I cannot hear you.
Sorry, I have a sick one over here and the dog's
Aw.
crazy, so I had to get up. I missed it. I apologize.
That's okay, we're talking about. Wait a minute, that was your excuse yesterday, girl.
I know.
You.
I'm not doing very well.
Drill her.
Remember that accountability piece? that Ricky said about?
No joke.
So, we're talking about the different kinds of markets, and if you're in a buyer's market, a balanced market, or a seller's market. and the difference between the two. Nick, you have a comment on that?
Not at the moment.
What about you, Nick?
Nope, just watching.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure, if y'all see something pop up that there's somebody in the waiting room, holler at me, okay?
Mhm.
Not real holler, cause I might cry. Ricky was telling you all sorts of bibs yesterday, I heard it. All right, so a buyer's market is gonna be more than 7 months, 6 months, I use 6 months too, because it's in the middle of 7 and 5.
Yeah, 7 seems a little strange.
Really, come on, it's right there in the sweet
Yeah.
spot, you know? So, and then inventory, less than 5 months of inventory is the seller's market. So you can kind of gauge by how quickly, like, even 6 months ago, where things were on the market for all of about 30 seconds before you had to line out the front door and all that kind of stuff. And how you're gonna pivot is super important.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So there's like certain realtors on Instagram that I follow, and some of them do maybe like higher priced homes. But I noticed that some of their homes sit on the market for like 4 days or 6 days. Could we technically be in a buyer's market or a buyer's market, let's say, but maybe a specific agent just keeps pushing houses through? Is that could that be a thing? Is that, okay,
Yes, yes, you can. Did y'all hear the question?
Yes,
Okay, so I have a theory around that, cause yes. And my theory is that if you price the home just under where the market, the comps say that you should, where it should sell for, then you'll get more people at it, more people want it. You've got to create scarcity. And the
Mhm.
only way to create scarcity is with price. So, and I'll tell you, explaining that to a seller that your list price is your starting price is really hard. Because that's what I just tried to do yesterday.
Mhm.
I'm like, this house, yes, I believe it will go where we got it priced. But not anymore because he priced it there. And I'm super mad about it. But it's not my house. He thinks he wants to rent it if it doesn't sell. So that's what he wants, so that's where he wants to price it.
Seems like that's the biggest objection with seller listings is like, was that even the right terminology? Seller listings? No.
Redundant.
Okay,
get
yeah,
it.
like one and the same. It seems like that's what a lot of brokers, share on social media. Like that's the number one thing that they always have trouble overcoming is the listing price. Yeah, because
Their perception of the market. Well, I had heard, sidebar, but I'd heard that sellers live in the past, buyers live in the now. So you've got to get your seller to think like a buyer for at least a moment, because, but Bob sold his house for XYZ. Well, okay, Bob put his house on the market in May when rates were climbing, but they were climbing out of 4s. And then almost overnight, we're in 6s and now we're in 7s. It is a completely different market for these buyers. What they can afford is out. You've got a subsection of the population, of the buyer population that is just like, we're back to the couch. We can't buy.
Right.
And even the 3, 2, 1 buy down that, Patrick might have talked to you about yesterday. They have to qualify at the rate, at the highest rates.
sure.
So maybe they qualify at 7 and they're gonna buy down to 4. Well, that's fabulous, but if they only qualify if it was still 4, it's not 4.
Sure.
So because that way, if they go all the way through, they still are qualified.
Okay.
So, you got a population that has dropped off because of the rate. You've got, some people are listening to the news. Not me, but, and they're super pessimistic. My Uncle Bob was in real estate in 1910, and he said this market's crashing because he's seen it before. Okay, the Great Depression is not the same as where we are now.
Yeah, 100 years
know?
older, yeah.
And I've listened to so many different financial, whether it's lenders or financial advisors, we've got to pull out of this to pull out of the recession. So, if you look at the trends, we're gonna be back in the upper fours at the very best, or very worst within a year or so. So get your house now where the competition is low. Did you like it last year when you were like, here's my baby, I'll give you my second baby too, you know? Just take my offer, or do you like it now? Where we can go and have lunch and we can think about it. Before, I packed snack bags for my buyers because we are at it for the day, and I'll show you a lot of different properties, but we need to be game on. Oh, heaven forbid, and wear those slip-ons because I'm not waiting for you to tie your shoes. It was hard. It's a lot of work. And then other people want to cut buyer commissions. They're like, I work so hard. That's-
Yeah.
No, please. Did I answer your question?
Yeah,
It's
totally,
like a
100%,
show, you know?
yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Try not to swear since we're being
Yeah.
recorded.
It's okay.
Okay, so kind of what we kind of just went through is how much the interest rates and the lenders and all that kind of stuff affect this. What your buyer, economic factors, when we talked about the recession, I think it's also political, which was actually one. Other things. Oh yeah, the neighborhood. What about Colorado? What about the mountains? I don't think they're going through any kind of dip. Maybe a small correction, but, and they're seasonal. So they could dip now, but nobody's buying up there now anyway, because you can be able to get your U-Haul down the hill to, no, nobody's moving in. So I don't know, maybe if they sell them furnished, you know, like take the furniture, I'm not moving it out.
That's true.
So there's a lot of different factors. Are there other factors that y'all can think of that aren't listed here? I said political, you can't use that, yeah, but the political factors,
November 8th is going to determine a lot.
oh yeah,
I mean, you know,
yeah,
and to what you said, what I'm hearing is that there, on the federal level, there's going to be gridlock because the RO should pick up some seats, which is good for the economy, which should stabilize some things, because when there's gridlock, there's no new policies coming in. And then you can probably get back to those high fives.
Yeah.
Relatively sooner than later.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
Mhm.
totally,
Same thing for the stock market too.
yeah, I think it's,
And that's not my opinion, that's coming from my financial advisors telling me that as well.
yeah, I've not heard any, the only people think that the sky is falling is the media.
Oh, well, yeah, that sells papers and clicks.
Uh-huh.
And that's what it does. So,
Yep. Yep, I know we were already talking about the media, and that this talks about watching the news. I say, don't watch the news, but be aware of what the news is pushing. And the reason you want to be aware, why?
Well, it helps educate what's going on in our world,
Your customers,
but
because they might be knowing it
You
too.
gotta find out where they're getting
Right.
their ideas,
And
because
it's not that you necessarily, I don't call that an objection. It's more the education component of it.
Yeah.
And I really like what Ricky was talking about yesterday in terms of, yeah, we were at 7s, but yet if you really like the house and it's doable for you, don't get caught in at 7 versus 5, because if it does drop back to where it was in the 3s, you can always refinance,
yeah,
get your house,
yeah.
you know.
Well, some people like and don't like this term, but love the house, date the house. Anyway, you're dating the rate, you're loving the house, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So, and some people don't like that terminology, but the fact of the matter is, there's nobody, maybe back in the day, our grandparents might have gotten a mortgage and stayed with it for the full 30 years,
mhm,
but I doubt that.
yeah,
At some point you pull money out, something, you don't have the same mortgage that you had when you bought your house. So don't
I mean,
worry.
the truth,
What was that, Nick?
the truth is that the rates are, and all the conversations around them are only a product of the past few years and the insane low rates that aren't sustainable, that don't even equate to a healthy economic situation. Because the truth is, historically, right? I mean, rates around 5 or 6% is actually going to equal a healthy market, a real estate market anyways. And those low rates aren't sustainable. So nobody should even be engaging in the conversation about how we're going to get back into the 3s, because that's not even good for our long-term picture,
Exactly.
I mean, but the
Exactly.
problem right now is the affordability of housing. I mean, I just watched the house right behind me just got listed last weekend for 800,000 and it was under contract on Monday. There was a line, they had their first open house over the weekend. There was 6 cars in the driveway and cars parked all the way up the block. So everybody's talking about how houses are sitting on the market. People are just pricing them too high. That's all that meant.
Exactly.
Wow.
Thank you. And to that agent's credit, his seller was willing. Because he probably got over what somebody else would have told him to list it for because he listed it under.
It's weird though, because honestly, it's $150,000 higher than any house has ever sold in our neighborhood for.
At the 800,
Yeah.
all right, that thing's pretty tricked out.
Yeah, they just did they did it in like 3 or 4 weeks, but yeah, they did like the Home Depot splash the white modern, waterfall edge 12-foot island in like they came in with a crew and just hammered this thing out. The
Right.
realtor who bought it for 400 and then listed it for 800, I think 4 weeks later.
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
What a good return.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
I mean, it's great for me because my house sits right next to that house, right? And I paid 400 for mine 2 years ago, but
Wow.
it seems the problem again in my mind is affordability. This is a working class neighborhood and I don't know a single working class person that's buying an $800,000 house for their first home anyways, which was
Yeah.
my initial go at buyers is my friends that don't own homes. Let me convince them why they should own. And now I'm looking for people that bought homes 20 years ago that have enough equity that they can even play around in this market.
Where are you? What neighborhood is this?
Bear Valley, it's right between Wadsworth and Sheridan, just south of Yale. We're right along the Bear Creek.
Yeah, there's a lot of that flipping going on over there.
Yeah, it's a great neighborhood. We love this
Oh, yeah.
sort of southwest side of Denver proper. We're on the last physical block of Denver, right by where Wadsworth meets Morrison Road.
Yep, I know that area. Wow, that's awesome. Wild.
Yeah, prices anyways, not interest rates. You talk about the news media, that's who's talking about the interest rates. My
Right.
parents bought their first house, I think it was like 18% interest.
In the 80s, right?
Right, but again, houses were $100,000.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring up. Thank you. So would you rather, when you're educating your buyer and they're thinking,
Really good point.
oh, I don't want to do this. Okay, so do you want to overpay 6 months ago because you had to in order to get your house? We were doing appraisal gap, so you could legitimately say, now that I'm not in that market, I will say this out loud, to say, oh, here comes Michael, hang on.
We gotta stop
pause.
teaching.
I do. That's what I said to Zach. When he comes in, I'm just gonna stop. Bye. So you legitimately were, because we overpaying for a house, because we had to do the appraisal gaps.
Mm.
At a low rate, you're paying 50, 75 over what you should have been, what it would appraise for. Or with a low rate, or do you want to be in an adjusted market where you're paying what it's worth, way closer anyway,
Slightly higher
with a
interest
little
rate.
higher interest rate that you can fix? You can't go back and fix your purchase price, but you can
Yeah.
fix the rate later.
It's like logic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's, and you have to make that emotional too, because logic makes you think and emotions make you act.
Mm-hmm. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, for sure. That's a whole law, actually. That's another class that is a must when it comes around.
Okay.
It's a lot more about mindset. Okay, AHAs. I don't know how long ago I heard this. Everybody loves AHAs. What are you thinking? But you know what I heard this stands for? Agents helping agents. So your AHA helps somebody else. So that's why you can't hold it back.
Mm.
Go. What's your AHA? Where's your poof? You don't have any that I get to walk out because I'm not effective.
I will say, I did not think, and this goes back to like perspective. I did not think about Nick, right?
Yeah.
That's the one talking.
Yep.
That's a really good point, and also that you made point about overpaying with a much lower interest rate. And people were, I mean, people were paying 50,
Uh-huh.
75, 100 over. And, you know, then they complain about the high interest rates now, but you're paying slightly less than what the listing price was. And you're in, and you can still refinance. Like, I didn't even think about that until this very moment. You know, like it goes back to yesterday with, you know, when Ricky was talking about, you can get 7 now, you could stay neutral, or you get in when it's dropped, or you get in when it's like 11%, and then you're like, WTF, I can't believe I didn't.
Yeah.
And like that changes your perspective and your mentality about it. It's crazy.
Well, and you talk about educating your clients. Everybody, it's a human nature thing. Like whatever happened most recently is what's most heavily on your mind. But the last couple of years of low interest rates is so abnormal that you have to educate your people to understand that that is not normal. It's never going to go to 3 again. Nobody should ever tell their clients it's going to go to 3 again. We've been seeing home loans historically for what, 100 years now, and it's never been 3%.
Yeah.
Right? So why would anybody think that's going to happen again? There's been way more time in our history where the rate has been at 8% or higher than it has been at 4% or lower. So why would you expect the anomaly to be the norm? This is the foolishness that is really ruining a lot of our opportunities with buyers, because telling people that it's going to come back way down it's not realistic, and it actually makes you look like a schmuck if you're actually presenting information that's not going to come true. So
Yeah,
you be
for sure.
real with people, and really the price is you chose to live in it, or the issue is you're choosing to live in a city where the demand is high, and a property is worth whatever it sells for, not what you think it's worth.
Yeah,
Right? That's the same with any commodity, right? So
absolutely.
So I'm going to piggyback off of that aha moment. And I think, Nick, that was great. That was really well said. And I didn't think about that either, is that the 3% isn't normal. Because when I was at Smedra, they had some really great visuals on how to present that to your clients about the rate and how historically, you know, it has been in that 6%, right? And that it took years and years and years to get to the 3%. So if buyers wanted to wait, that they might be waiting a very long time to get back to that point.
Yeah, and what has been lost in that waiting?
Right, their
Oh,
homes,
the-
that they
the
could be
equity.
purchasing the equity that they're gonna gain. Right, exactly.
it literally took the worst worldwide pandemic since like whatever that flu, Spanish flu or something, to get rates down that low. It's totally
Right.
not, like, unless you're really just hoping and praying for another catastrophic worldwide situation,
Pandemic,
maybe
yeah.
maybe your grandkids will be able to participate in the next round of 3% loans, but it's just not a realistic thing to project forward. I don't think, you know, if you just look at history, right? History repeats itself. Every time there's a major disruption in the globe, there's some kind of economic settling that happens after that.
Mhm.
People just need to understand this is what it is, and this is how we're going to move forward. Either you want to be a home buyer or you don't. And if you want to own a home in Denver, pull up your panties. It's a big thing to undergo, you know. It's anyways,
Yeah,
sorry, off
so-
my
and that's-
soapbox.
That's exactly the key, is to learn how to say, pull up your panties in a better way. You know?
Yeah,
'Cause
my
that's what we're
filters
trying to get them to
don't work.
Understand is that home prices are still going up. Even through, Patrick has this graph that I love, and people will still look back to the crash, you know, of 07, 08, 09. And they go, oh, the market crashed. Okay, so let's look at that. I get that people were buying things because they could fog a mirror. So I know because I was in the market.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
And so then they were buying with pretend money essentially. And then they were, when the market was changing, when the .coms were all getting laid off and whatnot, then they were getting foreclosed because those arms were resetting. So once they started doing that, they could no longer afford the house that they couldn't afford to begin with.
Mhm.
but nobody was using any sort of vetting. So that's what caused it. That's not what we're looking at now. We're looking at unethical business practices through the lending and realtors too, in my opinion. I wasn't one, so I can say that. I can blame it on them. And then, but now all that's been fixed with the regulations and legislation and all that kind of stuff. We're not gonna have that again. So now what we look at is if you charted where home prices were before there were a whole bunch of foreclosures that flooded the market, and brought the prices down. So then, and where they are when we came out of that, if you trended what was trending back down here, I'm using my hands, hope y'all can see. Oh wait, maybe you can't. So if you were down here before, and then there was this, and then you plotted here to here at the same rate of all these different years, you're back on the trend line again.
Mhm.
So all we did is give some people an opportunity to buy shit on sale.
Mhm.
And that's what we did, and that's what partly got us out.
Sure.
Because there were people who could qualify using the right practices that were then put in place and then popped it back out. But if you plot that trend line and I think it's like 4.7% across the country, that is our appreciation rate. And in the Colorado market, we have a crazy double digit. We were double digiting and then we weren't. But if you take the national average and keep plotting it out, we were fine.
Mhm.
And we came right out of it, and then we got double digits again.
Ryan, can I ask you a question about that?
Uh-huh.
The understanding that I'm trying to operate with, and I'm looking for correction if this seems out of line, but I feel like the conversation is a lot about like, you could take somebody who pays $1,500 a month in rent and they're spending 18 grand a year to pay someone else's mortgage down, at the end of which, yeah, they had a roof over their head, but they got nothing to show for it. If you could buy yourself, maybe not your dream home, that's the other thing. And we live in this insta glam reality where everyone thinks that their first home should be freaking marble pillars out front. It's kind of like, get in touch with your income. Maybe you have to live in a condo or a small house for 5 years while you gain enough equity in that 5% or whatever it is that's going to gain, that gives you the bigger down payment. Because I'll tell you, working class people can't even meet those appraisal gaps. They can't meet the extra $100,000 down to make their loan affordable. I mean, I've been busting my ass for 40 years and I can still barely come up with enough money for a down payment on a house personally, right? So how can you expect other people to? So
You can't save that.
no, you can't say that, but you can explain
So
to them
save
that
it.
they're,
You can't save it.
oh, right, you can't save it up,
Yeah.
right, but you can build it in equity pretty quickly, especially even at 5%. If you look at a $500,000 house, that's 25 grand a year in appreciation. You do that for 4 years and you have an extra $100,000 to put into your next property.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't like any one of my clients to feel like a one and done situation. I'm trying to help people strategize how to upgrade their life and buy another house in 2 or 3 or 4 years so that I have another job in 2 or 3 or 4 years, right? I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's living this sort of instant gratification. I want the mansion, not the little house on the hillside, you know, and I don't know, again, I feel like talking to people and helping them understand like, hey, buying a smaller house now and having another $100,000 to roll into your next house in 3 or 4 years is a way better plan than wasting 18 grand a year on rent for another 3 years while you try and save up money that won't happen, you
Yeah,
know?
for sure. You know, what I found is hanging out with other people who are going on appointments and listening to the way they talk is what's really helped. Because one of the things that I picked up, I don't know where, can't give credit to whoever said it, but you're already paying a mortgage. And they go, what? It's just not yours.
More than a mortgage, because rent prices are through the roof.
Yeah.
That's
You
actually,
are paying a mortgage.
Yeah.
And then they're scared of paying a mortgage. You already are. I don't care if you're in an apartment, you're still paying a large corporation's part of their mortgage.
I hear a lot about this often, and then the next thing that comes is, well, either my credit, I don't feel is is good enough, or we don't have enough money to put down. Well, like talking to Patrick the other day and hearing like the Chaffa program, like there are, and then the Denver Metro or
Yeah, yeah,
down,
yeah.
like there's down payment assistance programs out there that will lend you the money.
Yeah,
for
sometimes
free.
it's free,
Right.
sometimes it's forgivable. In early 2021, I helped 2 people using that. And a lot of people say, oh, well, that, you can't do that in this hot market. We did,
Sure you can, yeah.
we sure did.
And you just have to get the seller to pay the difference, right? The buyer pays 1,000 and the seller pays the other 9, from what I understand, or is that vice
I don't
versa?
know how he worked it out,
Okay. Well, that's what you
Yeah,
told me.
but that's one of the things that I just go, you know what, I wanna get you with my lender and I'll get on the phone with them so I understand.
Mhm.
We had to, with this particular client, we had to go, all right, if the HOA is this, then the taxes have to be this. And we're like, you can't tell me, that's too many variables. Give me that lumped up together and I can math this. It's addition, I can do that.
Mhm.
And then this part, and then we looked at, you gotta watch when you're doing the CHAPA and all those, what the affordability. Oftentimes will land you in a appreciation capped neighborhood. And, or a leased land, you only own the building, not the land. So do you have to pay extra for the land, for the building to be sitting there? I don't wanna think about what that eviction process looks like, you know, are they coming with a big move in this house?
Yeah,
Cause I bought the house, but I have to pay the land. So, there's a lot of different factors that I learned through doing a CHAPA and stuff, just because of where they would end up looking.
mhm,
Like Green Valley Ranch, you have to watch those. A lot of investors got in trouble up there
mhm.
because they didn't look at that more deeply. And, you know, ask me if you get one of those, that's up that way. I mean, I'm happy to show you what the telltale signs are. And then you have to go look at the county records.
Okay.
But, yeah, Nick, it sounds like your niche could be that first time home buyer. Because it doesn't have to be a young person, it could be an older, somebody who has never owned. My parents never owned a house. I never lived in a owned house until
Wow.
I bought my house. We rented everywhere. Now, we moved every flipping year. And not military, so maybe that was a good plan, I have no idea. My dad just knew he had wheels under his feet, he was not gonna stay anywhere very long.
I feel like I tried to have first-time home buyers be my, I mean, I've been licensed, this month is 1 year for me. And I spent the first few months just doing all the coaching and everything I could do. And I jumped into the first quarter of this year, January, signing buyers. And I even had a listing that was coming down the pipe. And then I got 2 deals closed, one in February, one in March, and then April happened and rates started going up. And all my people that I had signed started falling to the wayside because they could no longer afford
Right.
anything with the new rates. You know, people are living in a pretty nice apartment that they're paying $1,500 or $1,800 a month for,
Yeah.
and they're shopping for $600,000 houses, and then within 2 months they only qualify for 425. And
Yeah.
I mean, in today's market, what does a house for 425 look like? And are you willing to move out of your marble countertop apartment to move into that $425,000 house?
Yeah,
So,
and it's
first-
education,
first-
right?
How do you answer that?
First time home buyers right now, I'm actually shifting my whole thing. I'm actually trying to chase listings because my peers can't afford to be first time home buyers. I'm joining new clubs to try and meet people that are in a different affordability bracket that I don't even understand. That I grew up in the hood. So like my
Yeah.
people, they can't afford a $600,000 house at today's rates.
For it.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
I'm trying
Yeah,
to
I
figure
think
out
it's-
listings or other opportunities right now. That's part of
Right.
why I'm here doing Ignite for the second time, because I left Ignite a year ago feeling like, oh man, I'm gonna be the first time home buyer guru. And boy, my tail's between my legs. I haven't closed a deal since March. You know, luckily for me, I have another business to focus on, but I'm frustrated and wanting real estate to be my thing. So I'm trying to figure out how to break out of what has felt like the prison of the raising interest rates, you know?
Yeah. I think, to Melissa's point, how do you deal with that, is education.
Yeah,
You just have to let them know what they bring their expectations down. Because like the guy who's, so here's what's hard, is like, I've got 5 kids. And it's just me now because my husband decided whatever, and how do you move that? And with a teacher income, I just had that, so we went to Parker, to Cottonwood. It's Parker, it's not like it's not safe,
Mhm.
you know? And we got the cutest little house, how they fit 5 bedrooms in that little house, I think it's like maybe 1,700 square feet. Yeah, it's bitty, but everybody has a room, and she's got everybody doubled up anyway, that's a real scenario.
yeah.
And she was so willing, guess what her ex is doing? Renting.
Mhm.
Sucker, but I mean, she's gonna be building equity, you know? I'm like, I don't know, eventually he'll get out there. But, I mean, he's gonna be looking at the same thing,
What did she pay? Just like general rough.
5,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Do you
Good for
remember
her.
like 8 years ago? Well, I
And it
guess.
was contingent when we got under contract,
Oh, really?
and we got stuff done to the
Wow.
house.
While I don't think it's realistic to project extremely low rates in the future, I do think it's realistic. If you just look at how many people are trying to and projected to move to the Denver metro, I do think it's likely, you don't have a crystal ball, but it is likely that we will get back into double digit gains in
Appreciation.
in your equity, right?
Equity,
Sure.
and she will have the equity.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna be doing great, she's
Yeah.
not even move again,
Yeah.
but she'll recommend me, she get crumble cookies at her work.
Oh, I mean, that's a
Yes,
quick
sir.
winner. I was just gonna say, I remember like when I got out of the military here and I went up to Parker and I remember homes were like 270 and 290, 300. So it's just crazy to hear like 500 for 1,700 square foot home.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
And that's
California, here we come, or are we already there? Yeah, I
the
guess.
amount of growth that has come here, you know, over the last, from probably 2000, 12, 10, somewhere in there until now, has just been extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's been, you know, it's just been crazy, because I was in the military, I owned a house in Alabama. Guess what the appreciation was down there?
Less than 4.
It was probably about 1, you know, and
Yeah.
because
Wow.
Yeah.
I bought my house for 187, and it was a relatively new house. It was built in 2002. I bought it in 2006, you know, right before the big housing
Right,
thing hit. And I sold it last summer, not this summer, but a summer ago, for 215. And it was one of those that
You
was,
can barely pay a realtor, almost even.
all I got back was the equity. That's
Wow.
what I got back. That's the money I made on it.
Yeah,
Really, because really by the time you sell for 215, and by the time your commissions and all that, you're down to around 205 to 200. And then, so you're looking at 200 versus what I paid. So I just got my equity back, is all what I got.
yeah, what you put in it.
And so when you talk about markets, that's a perfect example, you know, in terms of versus Denver versus, you know, Montgomery, Alabama. And that's where, I mean, there's a lot of things happening down there. There's the Hyundai plant, the Mercedes-Benz
Oh,
plant,
yeah.
the United States Air Force, that's all their education bases right there. But yet flat, you
Mhm.
know, and it was only because of the pandemic, you had all those material shortages that drove up prices.
Yeah.
That's what caused it. So I jumped out. I was like, finally.
Yeah, I'm done, I'm out, yeah.
Because that was my goal, was to turn it over to a property manager, hold it, hopefully it would appreciate modestly. I never had Denver dreams, you know, like we talk about 5% every year.
Yeah.
That was never, but I wanted it. I thought 10 years I could sell it for 230, you know.
In
Nope.
10 years,
Nope,
holy
nope,
buckets,
not 215.
crazy.
50%.
Yeah,
So-
not even.
That's one of the things that I listen to Bigger Pockets is one of my favorite.
Hey, I just joined.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. There's a lot of education there, and they talk about, cash flow or appreciation. Rarely do you get both.
Mhm.
So here, it's really hard to cash flow because you're paying so much for it initially. And except if you get it on sale, you know, real estate on sale, which is what I think that we're coming into, so. it's
I'm
time
really
to buy.
interested, what you just mentioned about rental, I mean, I'm somebody who's trying to figure out how to get established as a rental portfolio realtor, right? That's part of my goal in getting into real estate is to end up, I don't have a solid retirement plan other than building a rental portfolio that's helping me to build some wealth through equity gains, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And how, like, I'm looking at the house behind me, 800,000, even with 20% down,
6 months.
your rent is, or your mortgage is 4,900 a month in
Well,
these
that's
current
not-
rates.
That's not a renter house.
Right,
You
right.
know, it's the 400s, the other houses that are in your neighborhood that are gonna rent and you could
So it
possibly
would have
cash
to be an
flow.
FHA. or-
But I can
Right.
talk to you more about that. That's something that I've been doing for a long time before I was licensed.
Yeah, I'd love to. Maybe I can take you out to coffee when it's not Ignite class.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right,
Thank you.
let's
3.5%
move forward.
doesn't
We
have
show you
that
how
in
to
there.
look at your own market.
If you have
Um,
it, like.
yeah.
All right,
it's a good
so we're gonna
savings.
talk about building your expertise.
Yeah.
Hey, Gwen, you're way quieter than whoever the gentleman is that's speaking.
Oh,
Because
I'll
he's
shut up.
closer than-
Yeah. Yeah, we're both talking too much.
That's
All
all
right.
right. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to hear what Gwen's saying.
Okay, so, Laura, if you ever hear that phrase, it's a Kellerism, you can write it down, but it means language of real estate. So it's basically what's on the market, what's going off the market, how long it's staying on the market, what your average price is, you know, all of those things that we need to keep track of. So this is where I don't have this for y'all, and I asked Amy to print this, and let me show y'all over here. See this? I didn't know it was gonna be this big, because mine's not this big. But this is our multi-year trend, so you can see from 2010 to 22. So 12 years, this must have been the whole thing, maybe we could have done this a little shorter, but there's Melissa's gonna love this. There's so many numbers on this thing. Minuses, pluses, but these are the things that you can pull your own on kwconnect.com. When you have trends, it will show them to you. But don't neglect what this is, but I'm not gonna read these numbers. Remember that high D thing?
Yep.
Those are for the C's in the room. That's not it. But you need to know this. You need to know where it's going. How many listings does the market center take? What kind of, all of this is, we are a transparent company. You can go on and look. KW Connect is where you can find out what Keller Williams is doing as a whole. I just couldn't pull market center numbers without asking Amy, and just like that, she's given me this huge stack. So y'all can look through this.
Okay.
But what does all of this, apparently we're gonna learn our clientele first. So who's your buyers, who's your sellers, who's gonna benefit? How, when the market changes, who do you think about? Like Nick is already thinking, oh shoot, things are on sale, I need to go to my investors. You know, so have those investors in your pocket. That's what Michael's story is. He started when he was 18. And I think it's him that was making more money. I think he was doing while he was in college. I don't know, I get all these success stories mixed up, but I'm pretty sure he was doing it in college and he was making bank. So his dad said, okay, I guess you can quit college then and just do this. So he's been in for a long time. But when the market changed, he pivoted. It's like, okay, these people can't do this anymore. Who can? Investors. Boom, let's go to them. So you've got to know that and know what this particular market that we're in, who it's going to benefit, and then go find them and know where to find them. I like this. Does the market put your clients at risk? So back in 07, 08, 09, would we have been the kind of realtor who would have said, you should buy? I see you have fogged a mirror before, you can get loans. You can buy this out. Oh, I know you love it. You can do it. Watch, I got a lender who can approve you for this. Were you that agent? Or were you the agent? I mean, we're looking in the past as if we were, because none of us were doing that. I wasn't licensed then either. But would we have been? Would it have been that tempting? would we have been that one is like, it'll never happen that this will reset, and it did. And then your clients are out. You never know. There was this guy, kind of doing what I was doing back in the day. And, he now lives in Texas and he can't come back to Colorado.
Why?
That's how bad he was.
Oh, from like the commission or,
Because he was super unethical. No, it had to do with foreclosures.
okay,
So the way that he was doing foreclosures as a licensed agent, which is the reason that when somebody asked me, do I want to be an agent? I was like, no, because now I wasn't doing anything illegal, but was it against the ethics of being a realtor? So, or was it against, you had all these disclosures and stuff, and I don't think he was doing that. So it was a big, huge problem for him. And I can tell you his name, but I'm not gonna. So, this is where you gotta learn who you're talking to, where are they getting their information, and is it accurate? You gotta look at what the headlines are telling them. You gotta see, are they listening to CNN? Are they listening to, we were talking about TikTok earlier. And, that's an official headline right there, TikTok. And sometimes it's as accurate as anything because it's real life. Like if I came in to the office and I tripped over something that was laying there and I did a TikTok that I tripped over something, that's accurate. Somebody else who's gonna report on it may not report the same thing.
right,
So it depends, you need to keep that in perspective, that's really what that is. And then your numbers, I think this is talking about the market numbers. We're gonna skip ahas. Cause I didn't say a whole lot. All right, so now different apps are gonna give you they're just different tools to do your business. Command app means that that's your database, right? That everybody have their command and everybody have their database uploaded into command. Who you're
yeah,
talking to, what you're talking to them about. You have smart plans that'll run through and do these things for you. Let's say, Nick, do you have some of your stuff in there? I know you're running two different businesses, but all these people, unless they're sleeping on the street, they have a roof over their head and they're gonna sell that thing one day. So how you talk to them is important. We all talk to, like you have your health and fitness people who are not used to you talking about real estate.
sure.
Nick, are you the one that's in minerals?
Yes.
Okay, so he's got his group of people that are not used to him talking about real estate unless it's where to find minerals, which is
Well,
not like.
all of my deals so far are through that niche network that I've built over the last 27 years of engaging that audience.
Okay, so what if you decided, no, those are those people. And I'm not going to talk to them about real estate.
You
I'm
lose
only-
business, like you don't know what somebody's going through, like this made me change my perspective, like I have friends and some of them are pregnant and it's like, I've already had conversations with them. You've been renting for the last 3 years, you're about to introduce a new child to your life, let's talk about buying.
Mhm.
Like you don't know until you try.
Yeah,
I've
Absolutely.
learned to look at it not as you're gonna lose business, but that there's an opportunity to find business in that space, because you can't lose something you never had, but you can gain
Yeah.
something you're ready to work for, you know?
Yep, absolutely, 100%. I have a friend of mine I've been talking to her about possibly doing stuff with me, and she loves 100% of nothing. I'm like, okay, I got you. I will support you in that, I guess. So
Do you do command through your phone? Is there an actual app I could put on my
there
phone?
is
for that?
an actual app. This is what it looks.
It's called KW Command, right? Yeah.
Well, I just went to the end of the slideshow, y'all. Hang on.
Yeah, I need to embrace the whole command reality, because it's,
Yep,
I tried to do the Marty Miller's command class, and
Yeah.
command had already had so many upgrades that the videos didn't correspond with, like, he'd say, click this button on your screen, and that button wouldn't be there, or it would take me to a different screen than he was saying it was gonna take me to, or whatever, so.
So that's a really good, self-guided class to get you through command. What he's talking about is, Marty Miller, go to YouTube, type his name in, and it's, what's it called? Something command.
Yeah, it's like, 60 days to
Yeah,
success or something like
66
that.
days of command or something like that. It has
The
command. in it,
66-day
66
challenge, I think.
Yeah, 66-day challenge. So
Marty Miller, yeah.
you want to make sure that you're on, don't even start at the beginning of his playlist because it'll be version 1. Version 1 looks nothing, trust me, you do not want to go through version 1. It was real clunky. But whatever version he's on now, you want to look and see what version and go to that, do only that. And they push out updates every Tuesday. So it could be a little bit different, but you'll find that button somewhere. Even if it's not exactly, and like, even if 60 of the days are spot on and 6 of them you're having to figure it out, it's still worth every single day of that. So yeah, I have this on my phone, and the reason I do is because when I get a lead, it pings me with a push notification that I have a lead. So I don't use it to call from, I don't use it to find out who I'm doing stuff with or anything like that. It's there. I could
Will you
be
clarify that?
out delivering Popeyes and I'm like, oh crap, they moved. And I could quickly update it from my phone.
And
Can you
can
elaborate? It pushes you leads or something, or what did you say? How does it
if I
inform you when you
did-
have a lead?
If I did a command, if I did a Facebook ad
Uh-huh.
and I got a lead, it'll give me a push notification on my phone because I had this here. Otherwise, it's going to my computer and I'm gonna lie to you and tell you I check it every single day.
But that's a real time scenario, Gwen.
It is a real-time scenario when it's on your phone, but
You
it's
create
not
a-
a real-time scenario when I'm supposed to be checking it on my computer.
You're saying though, like through your social media that's tied into your command, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be, if you create an ad and someone clicks on it and shows interest, having command on your phone allows you to act in the moment to respond to some interest that you've piqued, which really is a lead potential.
Yep,
They still have to click on your website though to
they have to
input.
click, yeah, they have to click through. There'll be impressions and then there's leads, and they're different. You can go to command and see how your ad's doing, see if your impressions are up, and if they're not, you might want to pivot. But you gotta, I would recommend that either, and command your conversion, which is Nick Baldwin's course on that. They're free.
The Scott Lee marketing is pretty good. I did watch.
Yeah, I did hit Scott Leroy. I
Oh, yeah.
did his in the very, very beginning, and command was just coming out, and I was super confused, but that was my problem. His stuff was one place and command, it wasn't integrated yet.
Oh, okay.
Because command was, I got here in January and command launched February of that same year.
They've updated though for 2022, so that's why
There's so much of
when I just watched a lot of the YouTube videos that take you through like some of the emails that they've sent over, it's pretty intuitive. Like it takes
Okay.
you, and it runs right along with command. So
Yeah, see, now I need to have to update to what you guys are doing because it's
yeah,
gonna be important for me to know
Yeah.
exactly what y'all see. So you can see that, I have a button thing I could point, but you can see that, you wanna look at your health score. So Ricky talked about this yesterday, about your leads and putting your stuff in command. You want the name, address, phone number, all of these things are different percentages. They give you different points. So you can see how you're doing compared to the market center. And you can see how you're doing compared to KW as a whole, and then against yourself. I have a health score goal, and once I got to that health score goal, I was like, okay, I'm good. And it took me, I have over 2,000 people in my command, and many of them I have no idea who they are. Because of the way that when they launched command, they were like, just sync up everything, it'll be fine. And I did, and it was not fine. So, I wouldn't recommend that, but unless, because it sucked my husband's phone over, my
Oh,
phone,
no.
duplicates, it was a hot mess for a long time, so. Don't do that. All right, so then the KW app, have you guys seen this? The actual app that you can send to your clients that's just, it's KW branded to you.
I cannot, so I hope I didn't interrupt you.
Oh, no, I'm sure not.
This took me
Okay.
down a wrong, like a huge wrong turn. I was trying to do this and I called IT, and there's a website that walks you through everything, and
Uh-huh.
it doesn't even allow me to get into it.
Is it, what, do you have iPhone?
Yeah, but you can also set it up online. But yeah, I mean, when I downloaded the
Yeah, from
app,
command, y'all, I am losing hair everywhere. Eventually, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna be bald. From command, it's in your marketplace and or settings. You can see what you're,
You're bald?
what was that?
Did you just say you're bald?
No, not yet. Hair's falling out though, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm sure it's nutrition, stress, could
Yeah.
be any of those things, I have no idea.
Stress, that's what it is.
So if you go to the App Store, Google Play or whatever.
do you have Android?
I do.
Okay.
Go to Keller Williams Real Estate, download and open, and then remember, this is client facing. So when you're using this, it's not gonna feel like you're getting, this is not RE Colorado that you're able to go in and like find the listing agent and all that jazz. This is branded to you so that you can send it out to your client. Here's the beautiful thing about using this. When you send, if I were to look up on my app, $400,000 properties in Nick's area, I could send that search to a client, and when they click on that button, it sucks in all their information from the phone and it sends it to command. And it tells me what they favorited. My assistant favorites like 30 things every single day. So I've turned her notifications off.
So is
So
this
I don't
effect, do I understand then that this is effectively possibly, it's similar to setting your client up with a portal into the RE Colorado, but instead it's going through a branded version that's branded to
It's
you?
branded to you.
It is branded to you, and that is the idea. And do I use it that way? I don't.
Because I've only ever set up you go through the RE Colorado and you set up the automated emails for everything in their, range of affordability, and they get an email every
Right.
morning.
No,
Is
think of
this
this
it?
as, this is Redfin or a Realtor.com or whatever. Hang on, I'm trying to see.
Is that it?
Yeah, yep, it is.
Okay.
But this is where you want your clients to be searching. When they're getting on there and they're just messing around, send them your app. Send it out to anybody, everybody. There is a smart plan that will send out your branded app. And the reason I say that is because then if they're thinking and they open Redfin, you'll never know they're thinking. And if you're not top of mind, they'll never say anything. But if they open your app and are clicking around, you'll know. And then they're surprised when suddenly you called them and they're like, you know what? I was just looking at houses yesterday. Really? That's interesting. Because we are Big Brother,
Yeah,
okay?
it does the 404 page not found, and when I do it on here too, you have to like sign up for it through Scott Leroy Marketing. It doesn't even connect.
Have you talked to Scott Leroy?
Yeah, I emailed them, they didn't get back to me, and this was like last week. And it does also say in the email, it takes 7 days when you sign for brand new agents, but it's been well over 2 weeks.
That's weird.
I-
I wonder if Amy can help, but
She can. I had the same thing.
Can't-
Oh,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, they changed the platform.
Dude, I was
Yeah,
losing my
Oh.
mind in that room over there. I was like,
Yeah.
sick of this.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, because I think that you'll use it well.
Yeah, my only issue with command, and I gotta talk with Amy about this, I sent a ticket to support. I have, probably right now about 300 contacts that I download from another source and puts it in a CSV file.
Yep.
And you're supposed to just slide that on in there.
Yep.
Nope, will not read it,
It won't upgrade
will
it.
not upload it. So I can manually go back, but I mean, and I've told, KW support, but you just get, well, read these articles.
Yeah, that's what I can do.
Oh,
Read these
really?
articles and figure it out. I'm like, well, that's not, there's
Yeah,
something that's not,
it's broken.
yeah. And so I've tried to
Back
play
in
around
the-
with it.
Back in the day when I had that issue, I emailed Scott Leroy's team and they actually uploaded it for me
Okay.
because
cool.
it wasn't just like the 300 contacts. We had like 1,300 and then
Yeah.
it tripled them and did all sorts of whacked
Oh, yeah, I
things.
remember
So,
that.
Wow.
And then don't let Ricky help you.
yes,
When she was with the other team and Ricky deleted their whole
Oh,
database.
yeah.
It's a shame.
So if it's technology, don't go to Ricky. Yeah. All right, so that's why I find this is super, super useful, when it works, right? I mean, it has to work in order for it to be a thing. So this is getting your social media up and engagement. 10 posts a day, and you're supposed to do an 80-20, that whole Pareto thing too. But 20%, depends on if it's on your business page, you want 80% of it to be business and 20 to be personal. If it's on your personal page, people expect to see personal stuff. So 20% business, the football. Then write out 5 comments a day. So I'm gonna tell you that if I get on Facebook, I'm there forever and doing nothing. It's not productive, whatever. So I have to set a timer. You got 20 minutes, go in there, you do, I like 10 posts a day. I'm sorry, I didn't see that right. You're not posting 10 posts a day. But you are writing those 5 comments, you're going through and finding people that I like to figure out who just got married, who just got had a child, who just got divorced, who got whatever, and just comment something. Hey, thinking about you, a little GIF, a little sticker, something like that. It gives you more ranking. I don't know, the algorithm loves those colorful things, not just your words. So as you're doing that, the reason you're doing that is because they're gonna start seeing you in your feed more. So I kind of alluded to, I don't know who was in here when I was, Zach, and I were talking about this class that I paid for. And they were talking about putting all of your friends in these different these groups. And you can go click on, if it were up to date, I could show you and click on Facebook and say Castle Rock friends, and it would pull up everybody who lives in Castle Rock. Some of them have moved, but whatever, because I don't keep up with it. But it took weeks to do that. Weeks, so I wish I'd kept up with it. But now they're in categories, so now that I can go and click on them and I can say, all right, these are the people that I want to say something to. Boom, 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 boom. Check, I've done 5 comments a day and now I'm out. And then my timer's going off and boom. My direct messages, I do birthday messages. If it's the day before your birthday, because on your birthday, you get tons of messages. So what's my message? Not much. So I choose to do it the day before. But these are to stay top of mind and to mess with the algorithm. So it shows your post to more people, even off your realtor page. And you should have a realtor page as well.
This is good. So you can have a realtor page, because honestly, Facebook is exhausting.
You can have a realtor page, yes, and it is in Facebook.
Okay.
But
Because
yeah,
just-
don't overthink it. If you don't like to get in there, just get in there and do what business stuff you need to do. And I get all anxious and I see somebody moved and then I get all butthurt and everything. I mean, and it's just the way it is.
yeah, I got off back in 2012 and I never got back on, and I actually was pretty anxious getting back on again. And I did get back on. I'm happy I got back on because I'm connecting again a
Yeah.
lot. But I have been wondering, what is the most efficient way to get this done? And so I'm glad you said set a timer, go in, do that stuff. But it's exhausting. And it's like, there's just so much, it's like overload in your brain,
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah.
information. It's like, I gotta filter through this and I just want to be in and out of there, get what I need to get done.
Yeah, exactly.
on.
And I set a timer because this is a black hole for me.
Yeah,
I don't get in and get out and do what I'm supposed to be doing.
yeah,
It becomes something that keeps me from doing something else I should be doing.
right, absolutely, yeah.
Connecting with my sphere, you would think that would be a big deal because these are my people. But it is a big deal. I don't know why. But it's something that still has to happen. So here's an example of a daily success system, having 10 conversations every single day. So where are those conversations coming from? And while we want them to be real estate conversations, if they're not, you're still top of mind as long as you're like, hey, just let me know if I can help you with anything real estate related. You don't have to ask every single time, who you know that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. You don't, but you want to be top of mind if they have a need. That's really super important. The other thing is, can you add 10 contacts? I think that even doing that weekly, 10 contacts is a great thing. But having a set number, gamify it. I door knocked a fair amount when I first started, and I put rocks in my pockets or those slippery marbles from the dollar store that go in the fancy vase thingy. And I would just move them, the conversations that I actually had, because I would knock on 50 doors, but only have 10 conversations. So I would just move those. And then I bought 3 clickers one day and I would click through those. So I just, figure out what it's gonna take to keep you on task and write out your success system. What does that look like? If you're bivocational, your success system may not be the same. 10 handwritten notes, I would say that's not happening on a daily basis. That's 50 notes a week. That's a lot. My goal is 3 a day. And it's thinking about you. Sometimes I drop a card in there, sometimes I don't. You see something on Facebook that their dog died, I'll send over it. I have AM cards, AMCARDS. It's $40 a month and you get X number of credits and you can send cards from there. It's the same as send out cards if you're familiar with that company. And it's branded on the back and all that kind of stuff. So I use that for my handwritten cards. Is it as effective as the real handwritten cards? When I don't get those done, it sure is. You know what I mean? You got to figure out what you will do and what you won't do. You can't get done or whatever. So there's your 10-5-1 social media engagement. Some of these are weekly. I feel like some of them are daily. That 10-5-1 can be daily. 10 handwritten notes a day would be a lot. And then your enrichments, that's your apps and that kind of stuff. So, what are your thoughts about this?
Can I ask, is that app something that is, I don't have it, but I'd like to have it because I engage people in conversations about real estate daily, right? And it would be so nice if I can just say, well, if you're just curious what's happening in the neighborhood or you ever want to buy, all you got to do is click on my app and type in your search parameters or
Okay,
whatever.
Nick,
right?
I like where you're going with that, but you need to ask a different question. Hey, I would love to keep you updated on the neighborhood goings on. What's your email address?
Okay.
Okay, get their email address and set them up on a smart plan. You talked to them on the phone, so you already have their phone number. Now you have their name, phone number, and email address. Oh, okay, so I can get super specific and not just send you Denver statistics. What is your address? Well, now you have 4 pieces of information.
Yeah.
Because it's not as passive. be active in building your command. And you can put a tag on there that says you got permission. You could do a permission tag. My tags are all over the place with what they mean and stuff. All right, does that make sense? These other things that you can do to make sure that you're staying engaged in your market is, take a course on the MLS, how to use it wisely and how to search. Going to open houses and holding people's houses open, studying these market trends, pulling your numbers. In kwpmresources.com, there are numbers that are already there, and you can start from there. The charts don't work so well, but the numbers are already there, because the numbers only are effective when you have past numbers. So starting your numbers today is gonna look kind of ho-hum, but if you have somebody else's old numbers, that's gonna be beneficial. If you can't find it there, let me know, because I have numbers from summer.
Do you know what folder it's in, Gwen?
Huh?
Do you know what folder it's in resources? No.
No. And then obviously reading The Millionaire Real Estate Agent is also, I'm gonna speed this along because I don't know if everybody heard that I've got coaching at 11:30. So, and we haven't started our next thing either. But stop me if you have questions. I mean, I feel like we're aha and all the way through.
I do have a very quick question. Sorry,
Okay.
I will make this very quick. For Facebook marketing, like putting up
Missed that whole
ads.
session.
Oh, did I really?
I'm teasing you, go.
Oh, no.
Go, go, go.
Can you post, like, when you get to the whole ad thing, I'm not gonna get into that, but
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you take a generic photo of a house? Or is it beneficial to contact a listing agent and say,
All of
like,
this
if you don't have any listings, is it beneficial to contact a listing agent? Or is that like against protocol to say, hey, I want to put a static photo of your house on my ad? Like, how does that work? Do you have any idea?
They've changed it all since
Protocol
last
is
time.
make sure that it is okay,
Okay,
to use theirs.
okay,
And then I think that it would be okay. I mean, like, I would say yes. and-
because
and-
it's
Facebook
like
marketing
one of the
is
things-
I mean, it's not as big as Instagram, but it definitely targets another audience, and a lot of
Yeah.
people use Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you could do. Yeah, like I boosted a post because my command wasn't connected. I don't know what was happening with command, so I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna use what Facebook has in Boost. And so I have a little bit of money out there, and it's kind of ho-hum. I don't know, anybody's clicking on it.
sure,
So I don't think I will do that again. I have
Mhm.
read that boosting really doesn't do much.
yeah, same,
It's just not that, yeah. So now that it's on the MLS, I might pull the boost. But, let's see what else, that running it through command, you can do that, even if it's somebody else's and you've gotten the permission. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. You can still push it out, not as if it's yours, but to collect the leads. Because you don't want, if you advertise my listing, then you don't want those interested people to go to me. You want them to go to you.
right. Okay,
Yeah, and those, y'all are welcome to use it,
okay,
you know.
I honestly might take you up on that,
What's
because
happening?
I'm trying to get any and all business.
Okay, so this is the only thing that you really missed. But just as that engagement here is, talking about conversations, contacts added, handwritten cards, social media was 10, this was 10 likes, some sort of engagement,
Mhm.
5 comments, and 1 private message. And that's daily, where I think some of these aren't daily, but.
I get like 50 of those a day,
Yeah, exactly.
literally, yeah.
Right. But, and as you do that, even if you're not talking about real estate, they're gonna see your stuff more often.
Sure,
All right, okay, good. We might be heading toward the right direction here. All right, so don't call people who are on the do not call list. That's what this is saying. The TCPA says, if I'm on the do not call list, don't call me. Now, that's kind of, there is the you know, what if it's a BISBO thing, but they're asking you to call you, asking you to call them. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Do you know what that is? Affirmation.
Oh,
It's
okay.
huge affirmation, and it's a terrific one to start your lead gen with, you know? And that's probably where this session, going is the role play on. All right, 45 minutes. Update contacts. All right, I'm gonna go back to that's what I did before. All right, I'm gonna go back to this and give you a little bit of rundown. As far as your daily contacts go, I'd like to see you make a list the day before, or at least have your tags in your command on who you're gonna be calling next. Have a system. What system do you wanna follow? Do you have enough contacts in your system, in your command to use DTD2, which is do the database 2 times, and that runs you through that, and it's, I think you're running through it twice in the year. It may even be 4 times, maybe it's a half a year.
It's
But
4 times.
4 times? Okay.
Yep.
So, it's a quarter. So it's twice a quarter. So he gives you text message, the letter that you want to text out. It gives you a letter, the 2 letters that you're going to call, and it keeps you on point. If that's how you do your contacts, just have that prepped the day before you're going to start making your contacts. All right. And then make sure that you're not practicing on your real clients. Don't do that. Before you go out and start networking and telling people all about how you're gonna change their life in politics, you're probably look in the mirror and go, okay, when they say this, I'm ready with this. And if they say that, I'm ready with this, right? And you're probably even doing it in your head as you're driving to the event, right?
Yes. Yes.
Do that. It's still role play. Do you know, this is sidebar, but do you know that there's a study of these kids that some of them they taught piano and some of them they showed how to learn piano. One group of people, they actually got to practice on the keyboard. I'm doing this with my hands. And the other group visualized. Do you know when they tested them, they both progressed at the same rate? One using their imagination and one actually physically doing it. So even if I don't want to hear about, you don't have a role play partner, I don't want to hear it. You do. Me, myself, and I, and you got a mirror, more than likely, and if you don't, your phone.
I was
If you
gonna
don't
say the
have that,
mirrors. Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, probably not gonna make it in real estate without the phone. But it matters what you're doing, and I'm a big one for what comes out of your mouth, is feeding your subconscious, and your subconscious does not know that you're a liar, so it believes everything that you say. So make sure that you're feeding your subconscious what you want out of your life. Make sense? Look at that, we just get that in 45 minutes.
Love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like, well, we don't need to actually do it, and because we will get into that and start doing role play and stuff. We've got scripts that are amazing, and the old scripts that are super great, and then there's new ones, but the conversations are all the same. You know, the kind of conversations that you have are all the same. And then how I say it will be different, how Ricky says it. And the way that Diane Kokoska says it, which is the one who wrote Bold, and the way, I don't know who wrote Ignite, probably Gary Keller. But the way he says it is gonna be different. Some of it's how you manage that commission conversation. Pretty much the same. Learn it, internalize it, make it yours. Were y'all here for the script off yesterday? Was it good?
I was on the Zoom. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I missed it, because I was out looking at houses.
What's a pretty
But,
house?
yeah, who won?
We didn't really do a competition. It was just kind of like going over the scripts and
All
stuff.
of the scripts, okay, good. The last time we did a script off, I got a whole bunch of wardrobe, because I won.
All winners here, guys. We're all winners.
Yeah, that's actually
Are
not
we?
true,
No.
Nick, so. just saying. I'm teasing you. All right, so then don't forget to follow up. If you get a lead, hop on it. If somebody you know, oh yeah, that, I saw them, they were having a baby, that feels like a follow-up to me. Don't lose those. If you heard that fortune's in the follow-up, it is not a lie. It is so, so, so true. All right, oh my God, how many times are we gonna see that? Okay, don't forget to do your social media thing. All right, you feel like I just blew right through that? I hope you don't feel like that,
No,
but I need to get to your value. I feel like there's so much in your value. If you don't know your value, then you can't articulate to your clients your value. Is that right? All right, so today on this part, we're gonna talk about your value proposition. I need to slow down because it won't move. Okay. Oh, you know what? Define your value.
Gwen, I got 4 messages off that post from this morning.
Seriously?
Yeah.
All right, tell the group while I'm finding this, what you did, what you posted.
So last night, I spent an hour and a half going through, I'm a huge proponent in social media, specifically Instagram more than anything. And I have educated myself on using hashtags above and beyond. And I went through probably 50 different hashtags through the Denver, Colorado market. And I went through all of the recent posts, I mean, almost probably 1,000. And I contacted just under 10 different agents. And I went looking at their listings, and I reached out to several of them via direct message, asking if I could utilize their marketing material for their listings and post it in a post on my Instagram. So I just curated something this morning, screenshotted all of the photos, like sized them down, and then posted it on my Instagram using specific hashtags. And ultimately, I mean, it's like an hour and a half into this and I've gotten 4 messages off of it. So I mean, that's just one way to, find potential clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are the messages inquiries about your ability to help them with real estate questions?
Direct messages, not necessarily visiting my website. Was that your question?
My question, do you feel like, we just did a whole, I don't know if you were there for it, but maybe a week or 2 ago, we had an experience in the office where some fella came out talking all about his, what were they called it? Social media boot camp, I think is what the office called it. And,
I was not here, no.
so yeah, it was just, I'm just curious because I'm just starting, I'm on the brink of exploring. I use social media exclusively for my other business. It's where I do all of my sales. So I'm familiar with, but I haven't figured out how to, like, I have to start a whole new page for real estate and everything, but I'm just curious, like you said, you spent some time, you contacted some folks, you got some screenshots, and then you created a post. And that led to 4 messages. So are those people that are like, what were the messages like, hey, your page looks awesome, or like, hey, I'm thinking about buying, or hey, I want to sell? What kind of responses are you getting in those direct messages to your efforts?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry, I kind of missed that. Yes, they're all correlated to real estate and helping them either find a realtor. One message didn't clearly define if they even lived in Colorado, but 3 of the messages are Colorado residents, which I mean means that they're looking to either pick up and move, or they were renting or something. But yes, they were all correlated to real estate. Now, one thing I was telling Gwen this morning, I'll make this really quick. If you learn, and you can go on YouTube and learn all about it, but creating content on Instagram in the section Instagram Reels, the Reels aspect to Instagram creates so much more exposure and audience for you and your brand than anything else on Instagram. So Facebook has something very similar. It's called Facebook Reels. It just targets a more broad, but could also be specific depending on the types of hashtags you use. So Instagram Reels over static photos is something that I would, try to educate yourself on and learn more, because those will bring in sometimes more messages, but it'll also show more of an audience to your Instagram page, bringing in more followers, more views, etc.
Yep. I'm experiencing the same on my other business with Reels versus static posts for sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about your value proposition, what matters to buyers and sellers. Kind of getting super clear on your value proposition. After we go through what matters to buyers and sellers, you'll have a better idea. And then a recap from there. So are you familiar with value proposition?
A little bit.
It's kind of defining what you are to your market, right? So you'll see these little, kind of like a tagline, but not really. It's unique, memorable, persuasive statement that expresses the true value of working with you. Sounds like a tagline, right? So, and then it's gonna also, I feel like it may be a paragraph, a tag paragraph. That might be more fair. Addressing the specific and special needs of the buyer and seller in your market. And that might be your market. Like, I specialize in maybe the veterans. I specialize in first-time home buyers. I specialize in whatever it is. You know, that being your market. And then it states what you're gonna be doing for your client to earn that commission. And then holds you accountable. We always wanna hold ourselves accountable.
It almost reminds me of like a small business proposal plan, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's setting, it's showing what the standards are and what you're
Yep.
offering and.
Yeah, I hate to say this, I can't, it's one of those things that when you get it nailed down, it's super useful. And you get super clear.
Mhm.
Just like a floodlight is not near as powerful as a laser light, or even a surgeon who does surgery with a light, a laser. The more clear you can be, the better. And mine's pretty broad,
Mhm.
it's just more or less a tagline than it is a whole proposition.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad. I don't know why I haven't, it wasn't something that I chose to do, and it would be really good to do.
Mhm.
So a lot of this might be, don't do what I do, start it out right. Or look where I kind of jumbled it along, Ricky too, he said that yesterday. Like, he wished that he had started in a lot of these different places. So top agents can easily explain what services they will provide to anyone who hires them. So that's that clarity piece. You have to know what you are going to give your client, because if you have another agent behind you, you need to set yourself apart. So what does that look like? Okay, and if you can't set yourself apart, then you won't be set apart. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly what it is. They need to know what your difference is, because guess what what the difference is going to be if you don't give them something else,
Sure.
commission. And that's not where you want it to be. Like, here's all the houses that have sold over ask. Well, for the last 2 years, didn't almost everybody have that? It's the difference in percentages. I have this sheet that shows all the different percentages of why I got over ask and quickly and all this kind of stuff. Does all that even matter if at inspection you got beat up? No. So you gotta show that, and at inspection, here's what we do. We only do this, this, and this. And because you already knew in the seller's property disclosure, this was broken, don't ask me to fix it. Things like that. You've got to find a way that sets you apart so that your seller knows your value. So having a value proposition helps your clients understand your value and expertise. Like I said, it protects your commission and it builds that strong and trusting relationship. All right, Airbnb exists to create a world where anyone can belong anywhere, providing healthy travel that is local, authentic, diverse, inclusive, and sustainable. That's a mouthful, right? I like QuickBooks because it's short. Send invoices in minutes and get paid 2 days faster. Oh, State Farm, here to help life go right. We've seen a lot of these even on commercials. you know, the things that we can repeat,
15 minutes could save you 50% or more on car insurance by
right?
switching to Geico.
Right? It's exactly those things. Back in our day, we had jingles. We could do them all, right? I'm like, I miss jingles and commercials.
Yeah.
I don't watch anything but Hulu now that has commercials in it, and that's usually when I set my phone down to go to the bathroom. So I'm not watching those either. All right, so. All right. So one of the things that is beneficial, whether you've done business or not, is using the value proposition of the market center and our own, who you have in this building. So I've used often how many years Donna's been in business, how many years that anybody else has been in, whoever is coming alongside me. This is, we have about 100 agents here that are all will pick up the phone when I call them. You're gonna be listing in your coming soon time, you can market to this market center and let them know the listing is coming up. If you're working with a buyer, maybe you're going to ask them if anybody's got any off-market deals that they want to talk about and get them something that's not hitting the market just yet. As a fiduciary, you can point them to a reputable resource for service providers, such as a handyman, window washers, tax associates, and financial advisors. On Facebook, just the other day, somebody said, who has a list of their people? Well, y'all need to find your own people, and we can bring you our people to a certain degree. If you're in a pinch and somebody needs a mold guy, which that happened the other day, then we're just all hands on deck. Here, use this guy, he's great. But then in the process, did you like them? You can put them on your list too, and now you're building your string of people that you could refer. What you don't want to do is just go to the phone book and just go, here's a handyman, here's a mold guy, here's this water mediation guy, whatever. You want to know that somebody else has used them and liked them because it's gonna reflect back on you. And then market expert. So I can help you price your home to sell because I'm very tuned in to the market of the moment. That's kind of that market. The sellers are in the past market, buyers are in the present market. So those are all different ways that you can take these connections of value and bring them into your own value proposition. You guys have value propositions already? Anybody?
Not necessarily, but something Ricky said yesterday when they were doing a little back and forth with Melissa and Ricky about like what you provide. Everybody has the same, well, most people have the same answer as realtors, like I'm here to help buy and sell your home or invest. But like when you introduce yourself and you change that person's perspective on what it is you're helping them do, it's now like, what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish in this transaction? What are you looking to accomplish by speaking with me? So like, that's not necessarily my proposition, but it's made me think outside the box now.
Yeah.
Like it's not, I almost like remove myself from the situation. This is about my buyers or my sellers.
Yeah. So what if you had, our license says that if we're not proficient in something, we need some help over it, right?
Mhm.
So somebody came to you and said, hey, I want to buy 10 acres and I'm gonna turn it into commercial, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to do that. Well, it's my fiduciary responsibility to get them. I couldn't even do that. It would take more brain power than I'm willing to expend to do that and figure it out as I went along.
Mhm.
First of all, it's commercial, or let's say if it wasn't commercial right now, but they wanted to turn it into commercial, would I be able to walk them through that?
No.
I have no idea how to do that. But you know what? Tell me more about what you're trying to do so that I can make sure I can get you to the right resource. And then in doing that, I'm gonna find somebody who's gonna pay me a referral on it. So you got a little piece of the action because you made a connection.
And you get to learn. from.
Can we touch on that for just a second? I actually am in the middle of that. I just got my first referral ever thing and I'm supposed to email them. The agent who I passed my friend on to, I'm getting the referral. Like my friend wants to list his house in Santa Cruz and he asked me what he should do. And I said, let me find you a realtor. So I
Yep.
called around to all the Santa Cruz Keller offices, found somebody that seemed like a good fit and connected them. And now I'm getting a commission. But I need to know how to send them that stuff. I don't even,
So,
I've never
couple
done that, so I don't
ways.
even know what info to send them,
yeah, you
honestly.
can connect in command. I would do that right away. Connect yourself in command, fill out the form, blah, blah, blah. It'll send over to their command. They'll have to accept it. Then you have something a bit in writing. You have that in an email yet?
There's so much to learn.
I have text messages between me and the agent, and she's actually not with Keller anymore because she left Keller, but she's the best agent I found to handle a rustic property in Santa Cruz.
Okay, so
So-
she's not, you can't do it through command then if she's not in Keller. So
Right.
you're gonna get a blank, referral form and you're both gonna fill that out.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
98% of
I
agents
might have one and it
don't.
might go into kwpmresources.com and in the search bar, put referral and see if you can find something there. If not, circle back, I'll be able to get you one. But you're gonna need a W-9 from the office. I have it. I don't know if I have a 22 one, but when's it gonna close? In 22 or 23?
Yeah,
It's just a listing that's getting listed this week. Who knows when it's gonna close?
No, I know it's gonna close at 22. I'll get you that W-9. It's easy, but that's how you track it, and they'll need that, because they pay the market center, and then the market center pays you,
Right.
okay?
So are you who I should reach out to about that after this, after your coaching? When is your coaching done?
Well,
Well, all right, so maybe I'll try and give you a call after you're done with your coaching or something.
yeah, just send me, you can send me a text or send me an email, and that'll remind me.
Okay, thanks, Gwen.
Yeah, look in KWPM resources first, though, and see if you see it there.
Got it.
Okay, so for buyers, their goal, what they're looking for is just getting the right home at the best price at the right time with the least number of problems. Right? We should be able to help them with that. Hopefully. And for sellers, of course, they want to net the most amount of money, shortest amount of time, also least number of problems. So you can see where you have to dip. So when I see this, I don't know what y'all see, but what I see is in that statement, let me go back. If we're all as, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us, all realtors, real estate agents, there's a difference. Okay, we're all doing this, but what sets me apart from Zach or David or Nick? I'm like, what's gonna set us apart? If we're all going after the same group of business, we live in the same town, whatever, how do people pick? So that's what we're doing. We're building how people can pick. So when you go in there, you have this kind of stuff prepared. And this one's for a buyer. So when you're talking to a buyer, these are the different things that they're going to need. Okay,
Good question.
they got to figure out their need. What's your question?
How long did it take you to figure out your value proposition and your branding? I mean, did you do that right? I mean, because I'm in the middle of, figuring that out. And interestingly enough, I have a degree in design management. So branding was one of, my major. So you'd think that that's something that I'd be good at. And yeah, it is a strength of mine, but it's me. So
So I think there's some people who come out of the gate and they know exactly who they want to deal with. They know exactly what they do, who is their market.
yeah.
And I didn't. I'm like, I want to deal with even on command where it says like what areas you'll work. I'll do it all. I don't care. Just bring it all to me. I do not care.
Yeah.
And now I do care. And so like when somebody has an open house or something like that, hey, can you help me? Can you show me this? Or do you want this listing up in, I don't know, Watkins? No, listen.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like I know how important branding is. So I guess because I'm kind of jaded, I think it has to be something that's, a priority, and I have to do it up front in order for the business to happen. And I have no idea. Like I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yes, I mean, but don't be afraid to change your brand. Look how many times Coke's done it,
Yeah,
I watched Coke go through a lot of transitions.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
there's the new Coke, which now is the old Coke.
Make it match your
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah.
That's what I do with mine.
Yeah. And I guess that's true. Cause I mean, this is a completely new industry and I'm like, I'm clueless.
I don't think the brand, when I think about branding, you already have a branding under KW.
Yeah, right. True.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about too much outside of that until you've got to flip over some rocks to figure out what's under them before you know which kinds of rocks you want to flip over.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good info.
I just heard this from another agent out of New York. He told me on a Zoom call, this like blew my mind. Cause I was talking about headshots and he was like, dude, you don't even wear suits. Why would you take a headshot in a suit? And he said,
Hmm.
But don't do it in a tank top. Or
no. I'll definitely look good, but we're professional to say the least.
Right,
But
right.
he said, don't try to match the real estate industry or the definition of a real estate agent. Let the real estate industry match you.
Yeah,
Like allow it to find you. People don't work with you because you look professional or you look like you are some expert. They work with you because they know you or they've had a friendship with you or loyalty or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like these are all these like aha moments.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Muscle teeth.
The whole reason I chose this market center out of all of the market centers that offered me a position was because one of the coaches said to me, just be unapologetically yourself, be authentic, and that's how you'll find success.
Right, absolutely. So we've had a big group of people into the market center. All of our offices are filled up, but a few. And I'm like, dude, I went home and said, oh, I gotta level up my wardrobe because this is it. Jeans, and I have a lot of KW tank t-shirts. And I mean, like I work out in them. I've got yoga pants. They're like this much too long. But, yeah, I've got a ton of KW. Everything's KW. It's my uniform. And they all come in and they're all dressed to the nines. These ladies are in heels that I'm like, yeah, no, I
It's
don't
not
wear
you.
heels. It's not me.
Yeah.
It is absolutely not me. And then, but I was joking with my husband. I'm like, yeah, I guess I gotta go shopping, which is not something he has to ask for me. I hate shopping. So I'm like, no, whatever. I'm not doing that. That is not. I have like 2 or 3 pair of pants that aren't jeans that I'll wear to a client's house when they first see me. After that, nope, this is it. This is what you get. And I'm KW out. But this is who I attract. Other people who aren't, I don't know, fancy. I don't know what it is. But they attract fancy people. That's fine. We're after different markets.
Mhm. It's the greatest thing about this industry.
It is.
You
it
do
is.
whatever you feel is
You've
necessary.
gotta do you. It would be exhausting if I didn't try to be me.
Mhm.
If I tried to be somebody else, absolutely exhausting. So I would say, don't worry about the branding until you know what your branding might be.
Okay.
You gotta figure out, if it's an industry you knew, maybe you already know. Like the firemen in the back corner over there, they're all about the veterans and the firefighters.
Mhm.
That is their thing, but not Lindsay's thing, except that she's, catching all their business.
Yeah.
So you gotta figure out what your thing is. Maybe you're gonna go after the beauty queens. I don't know. But you don't know that either because you haven't been out there enough yet.
Yeah. I have no idea.
There is no right answer to this. Ask several people.
Okay.
I don't think you have to know it right now.
Okay, that's good to know.
So you're gonna, I didn't even have a different little logo until for a while. And then I had Nick, who does my signs, do that. And it's like a little moving truck.
Oh, nice.
Cute little moving truck with my name on it.
Well, that's good because I kind of panic about that stuff because like from my past business, doing business stuff, it's like the first thing you do is a business plan. The first thing you do is your branding and your logo. So that way you're consistent in all of in everything you do with your marketing. You know what I mean? You
Well,
want to be
will be
consistent
consistently
with the
KW.
Keller Williams stuff. You're right. I will be consistent because at least I have that to fall back on. So you're right. You're right about that. And
All your pumpkin, Popeyes and all that kind of stuff have KW or your logo.
yeah, you're right. So I do have that to start with, and then I can eventually develop that. And that makes me feel a lot better. It's not like I didn't have that, but then I start thinking about if this is my business, then I have to start with that. And so then that kind of held me back for a minute. You know, I think that's probably my weakness at this moment is that is what was holding me back. Like I had to figure that out first because all of the clients that I had in the past, you know, they came to me because that's what they needed to start their business. I had to help them start their marketing and they needed that to start. But I don't because I have you guys, I have Keller Williams to start me off. So that's, yeah.
Also, Melissa, though, you know, perception is reality and your perspective of yourself is changing as you're developing into a more confident agent.
Yeah.
I was told that in your first year, it's like drinking out of a fire hose. There's just so much information you're trying to get, and it's like you are going to be confused about who you even are in your first year. But in your second year, which I'm just moving in, right? October is my 1 year anniversary. And again, I have another business I focus more energy on than real estate, but I'm starting to develop a stronger sense of I as a realtor, which is helping me to feel more confident moving forward into my second year, you know?
And I'm glad
it's not the year piece as much as it is what you've done in that year, in that time.
And I'm so
Right.
glad to hear that because initially, I mean, not everybody knows this, and Nick, you weren't here yesterday, but when I got my license back in May, but I did get injured. So I kind of had to take a break there for a little bit. But yes, in the very beginning, I was extremely overwhelmed and I kind of felt like, I mean, I lost confidence. I thought, oh my
Girl, I'm
gosh.
still overwhelmed. Come on. I'm still overwhelmed.
I thought, you know, wow, you know, I've learned how to learn, you know what I mean? Because it's something that you have to teach yourself over time is how to learn, you know, because everybody learns differently. And I was like, I'm drowning in this information. There's just so much that's coming at me. And I feel like in order for me to pick up and start doing this, I need time. I'm like, it's just so much. And I felt like I was just drowning but I did have an opportunity because I was able to read while I was obviously in bed because I couldn't walk for a while. And I was reading and reading and reading, and I started creating my own strategy and that kind of stuff. And so that was helpful. But yes, it is very overwhelming in the beginning. And so thank you for saying that. That was helpful.
One of the things that we need to make sure we're cognizant of is where buyers are going to find value in you. And this is a great example here with, if you can address their needs, what kind of needs do they have? Why do they need 4 bedrooms? Are you going to use one for an office, or do you have that many beds that need to be put in there? Don't forget to get them pre-approved, not pre-qualified, because that doesn't mean a whole lot. Then the neighborhood information, where do they want to be? Why do they want to be there? Ask so many questions. You have to, in real estate, in life, you need to ask so many questions that you can get more clarity on what they're really saying. Because they may say, I want to be in this neighborhood, and you start digging in and asking why. Well, it's because they have this awesome pool that has swim team in the summer. Okay, were you aware, is that the only reason you want to be in there? Yes. Were you aware that there are like 7, 8, 10 different communities that also have swim teams at their local pool? What? Yeah. Would you like to know about those? Yeah. So, you know, just because you ask some questions. So, and then putting together their home search, how you're searching. Are you searching? I had a lady who wanted views. Could you define views? Well, you know what views are. She was a piece of work, let me tell you.
You're like, that's why I'm asking.
I said, well, I love views of like the trees or openness, space. And she goes, yeah, I want open. That's what views are. She's coming from Chicago. Your views might be like of the city. Oh, dude. So anyway, so she schooled me on exactly what views were in a very condescending way, and that's our last conversation. So but I was doing everything I could to show her different properties so that I could identify, so she wasn't gonna answer the question. But then I opened myself up to her. She didn't even want to tell me her last name. I'm like, I look back on this, I'm like, what? It was a referral, and that's the only reason she got the time that she did. But anyway, so making offers, how do you make an offer? Who do you call? How many people are you talking to before you make an offer? What kind of data are you getting? Are you calling the pendings? You're gonna tell this potential buyer what work you're gonna do before you ever start writing the contract.
And this is in the buyer presentation, isn't it? Or no?
Yeah, you're telling them why they should choose you. You know, like they could go on Redfin and just pick that guy. I had a client, actually, it's the same client that's the listing that went live. This is my first, I sold him this house and now we're selling the house. I helped him buy and now we're helping sell. So it's a milestone, I feel like. And he was only adamant that he was going to use the listing agent of whatever house he bought. And I was like, why would you do that? They don't work for you.
Yeah.
And so I had to educate him on why. And besides that, you get me for free. I mean, essentially, because the seller pays. So once he came to that understanding, we had a much better relationship.
Can I squeeze real quick? This all came about really sudden. I have my very first buyer appointment tomorrow and on Monday, 2 different clients or customers rather.
Yeah.
Is there like a generic buyer presentation that I can pull up and look like
Yeah.
under resources that I could?
It's in command under, it's in command, it's in designs.
Okay,
That's where you'll find it.
okay,
Yeah, and it's pretty, you can tailor it, you can brand it with your information in there and all
okay,
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then as you're going through let them know how you're gonna negotiate. You know, through the inspection resolution and all that kind of stuff. Then if we do have things that need to get fixed, hey, I have all these vendors that I can get you into. These are all different places that you're gonna, I buy a warranty. I let my people know, you're gonna get a warranty with me. Because it's important, especially the last year when everybody was just forego everything that had to do with inspection. I made sure I got them a warranty so that they could get those things that they missed or they didn't get to fix in the warranty time.
And what are those typically around?
$560,
Okay,
less than $600, depends on the size of the house.
so that comes out of your commission, I'm assuming? Okay,
Yeah, I do. I charge my buyer $650, so they're kind of buying it
love
anyway.
it, yeah.
And my transaction coordinator costs a little bit less than that. So I'm really, my cost that way is about $300.
It's not bad.
$350. No, it's
Okay.
not bad. I mean, like I'm getting paid, you know, a sizable chunk of change.
But it's this really after, sorry, I just keep having questions. Is this after you sign a buyer agreement with them?
No, this is the reason they should sign. You know, you're just explaining all the different reasons that this is your value proposition.
Oh, but you
So
wouldn't get a warranty just yet, right?
No,
Like you
no,
would
no.
get it once they sign.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I just want to.
And on the particular house, once you go under
Sure.
contract, and it's not even until after your inspection.
Right,
is when I
okay.
order it,
Okay,
because it starts at closing.
okay,
So these are all just different reasons that they should
Mhm.
hire you
okay,
over me
love it.
or whoever's coming in behind you. And then closing and post-closing, you know, I go to my closings, not every agent does. It's up to you if you do. I've sat across from sellers that are not represented at the closing table. They talk a lot. And it's not always great about their agent who's not there.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
So, I mean, back in the day, we went, and then there was a time where we didn't go because we weren't allowed. It was like, no agents, you have to, and I'm like, no, I'll be there, I'll be in the lobby.
Mhm.
Because I want to, it's my job to be there. Although it's not one of the 5 jobs, so is it really your job? But I feel like it's just an extension.
Sure.
And I I don't know, it just makes me feel better about collecting that check. And then post-closing, what else is happening, like post-close occupancy agreement? Your contract ends at closing, not at post-close occupancy deadline. I stay involved through that because it can get sticky. And I want to still be there and I want to let it, but that's up to you. Not everybody does. Some people are like, peace out, here's your key, but now you're a landlord. Thanks for working with me, I'm done. All right, so this one's about the seller proposition. If you put on your seller hat, and how you're talking to them through this, same thing, you're gonna figure out what they need. When do you wanna get there? What's your timeline? How much money are you looking to net? You're backing it up through a net sheet, potentially. Let them know what your pricing strategy is, what we talked about earlier. How some houses are selling in a hot minute and some houses are sitting to make the average of 31 days on market. How to prep for your property. Is it gonna be vacant? Are you gonna stage it? Do you want me to bring in my stager? Are you paying for that? Is that your value proposition? You can see these are all things you really need to think of before you go in, because they cost money.
Yeah,
A lot of these cost money. And to be fair, you get a little bit more than the buyer does, so maybe that's exactly why, this is what you could say, this is why I get more money. This is my own opinion, but do not cut your commission so low that you get paid less than the buyer. And here's why. How am I going to protect your money the way that you want me to? I'm speaking to the seller. If the other agent, you're paying the other agent more. And then I just wait.
makes them think.
It does. And I had that my GB guy that said exactly that. He was like, oh, that's a good point. And I said, and nobody's gonna show your property if you cut that too
Undermine,
low.
yeah.
That's just not gonna, because they can get the, they'll steer their client a different way. It's not legal to do that, obviously. It's not ethical to do that. And we all deserve to get paid, you know? This isn't philanthropy. So, what's your marketing strategy? How is it different than the next guy who comes in? You gotta know all these things, y'all. If you don't, the next person does, you're gonna look like
Silly.
you put, there's a script. Most agents do the 3 Ps, put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray it sells. I do 2 more. Nikki remembers this from both, is price watch and prospect for your buyer. So maybe that is you got a 5P solution, and boom, 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 boom. You outline it from your buyer. Yours is gonna be social media. Look, this is my screenshot of all my followers. This is huge. They all see it. No, they don't all live in Denver, but many of these are coming to Denver or they know somebody. So it's the network that you have
Sure.
that may be your value proposition. When you receive an offer, what do you get? Back when we were getting 10, I one time got 22 offers on one property in a weekend. So I said, I will always send it to you in a PDF so you can't accidentally sign it. That's what I like to do. You do it the way you do it. But if they sign it, they're under contract. If it's the wrong one, ooh. So I dropped mine into a PDF and sent it over. And I said, we will go over all of these. Some of these are gonna be low, low, low. Some of them are gonna be high. We're really gonna go over the ones that rose to the top. These ones down here, it's my obligation to show them to you. We're not gonna go over them because do you really want 405 when you've got a 485? No. There are no terms that's gonna make up that big a difference, you know? So, and then I put them on a spreadsheet so that they had the net at the bottom, closing costs, the whole 9, and they love it. That's something that I did. Negotiating. I am a certified nurse negotiating expert. I've been through that class. It's a big deal. What does it look like? Here's what we are going to fix. Here's what we're not going to fix in inspection. And here's why we can say that up front. And this as is or health and safety, it's already in the contract. Yeah, that's every agent.
Mhm.
has that, so how are you gonna set yourself apart? Again, pre-close
Hey
preparation.
Gwen,
Yes,
sorry to interrupt you. You mentioned the certified negotiating certificate class or class. Where did you take that? Through what?
title company and I can't remember her name right now. I can see her cute little face. Debbie Atwell. And it's through Rennie, Real Estate Negotiation Institute. And I've been talking with them a little bit about getting them here. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more now. I just gotta push it to my partner on,
Yeah, push that.
why that's a good idea. Anna she's CNE also. It's on my tagline thing that I'm CNE, and there's a master CNE. It's like a 2-day, it's so good. You go back to back and negotiate like you're on the phone. It's wicked good. But I mean, we can create some of that here. There is a Keller negotiating class too. Maybe we start there because the CNE class is super intense.
Yeah.
But it's so fun, and I think it can set you apart. If you negotiate like a boss, that's, there's a previous agent that Nikki knows well, Angela, she's a boss at negotiating. Totally.
We want to be bosses.
That's right. Totally.
Negotiating is like dating these days, you know?
Well,
I don't do
all
that
done
either.
through Anna.
I'm not good at dating.
I'm going too.
I don't date anymore.
No.
Everything's a transaction.
All right, so then what do
Oh,
you do
that's
for
funny.
pre-close? What are you doing for your seller that's gonna set you apart? Remember, this is all about your value proposition. This is what you're talking to your seller about, your potential seller about, and how you're different. And then closing and post-closing, it's kind of the same thing. All right, so what do buyers want most out of their agent? Finding the right home, being able to get it. Yeah, negotiating. And not just the price, but the terms as well. That's 2021, so. And then, when they're choosing an agent, what are they looking for? Look at that, honest and trustworthy. And are they gonna know? I mean,
Nope.
they're gonna know if you're friends.
But they don't know if they can trust
They
you
have
or.
no idea. So you've got to figure out how to, I love this other is the biggest thing. You're like, I don't know. But the one thing that we can control is how, if we look honest and trustworthy. So learn, what is that? What do? Mirror matching, looking at people's eyes, staying engaged. I mean, like my face does all sorts of calisthenics when I'm talking to people. And so do mine.
I think what I've seen over the years, listening. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's very underrated, but listening and letting them talk, whoever it is, no matter what industry we're talking about, letting them talk.
People want to be understood.
Yes.
There's a book. It's not a KW book, but it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, Dale
And it's
Carnegie,
What?
by Dale Carnegie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good
Go
one.
on that real quick.
Yeah, I might have it in my liver. Yeah, it's awesome. You've got to know, you got to dig deep, ask questions. The person who's controlling the conversation is the one who's asking questions.
Mhm. Yeah, because you can steer it in whatever direction you so choose.
Yep, and they feel understood because they're answering your questions. They also, I think, writing notes is important.
Oh, yeah.
It's important to me. But, well, first of all, it's important to me because I don't write notes.
I just want to point out on this graphic that 81% of what buyers are looking for is you as a new agent, because you can fit everything except the agent's experience on this chart. So 81% of this chart is focused at anybody who's a new agent. Because you're
Well,
going to be trustworthy and honest, and you're going to have a good reputation in your sphere of influence, right? So you might not have a great reputation as an agent, but the people you're talking to in the beginning are friends of friends or your family. So you already have a good reputation with those people, right? And you're gonna be honest and trustworthy because you have to be. So 81% of this chart says you as a new agent can be successful, right? So just
Yeah.
pointing that out.
I think they might trust you too if you remember the details about their lives, even like little specific things, you know, like the children and you know what I mean? Like just remembering them personally.
People love to hear about themselves. So anything you can
Yeah.
say back to them that they said to you is gonna help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff on that.
And here's what sellers are looking for in an agent. Does this look familiar?
Yes.
It's really very similar. The one caveat is, somebody's looking for somebody to help them fix up their home before they sell it, but that's resources. You know, it's my handyman, because you can take down, hey, you got these cute pendant lights, are you taking those with you? I can do that. If you take them down before my pictures, you can. Oh, I didn't know that. Yep, but please don't put them in my pictures, and then I have to say, these beautiful things are not yours to take, but we've got these sticks that look horrible, you can have those. Don't make me say that in the MLS. So, but it's really fixing their other problems. And I would say what was the verbiage they used on this side over here? Their experience is use we a lot. It's not you that they may be buying today, it's us they're buying today. You know what I mean? So I had somebody, my very first listing appointment, it was an investor. I had mailed out a whole bunch of letters introducing to myself and real raw, like the real list printout. It wasn't unprofessional, it just wasn't flashy and all that kind of stuff. I did a whole bunch of them, and he had several investment properties. So I put them all together. He's the one who called me. I remember exactly where I was, just past Ridgegate, barely even in cell service because Ridgegate's a hole. And he called and I was like, I'm on the road, don't know what to say. I'm like waving at my kids like, oh, say a word. And we set an appointment, and then I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. It was my very, very, very first appointment ever, and he had 3 properties. And I thought, oh my gosh. I went through the whole thing in my mind, like how I'm not gonna get it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, shut up, shut them up, and put a Post-it note, did all my affirmation, did a whole thing, and went in there with my previous real estate experience, not as an agent. And how I used to be an investor, I used to FSBO, all of the stuff. And then I had, through my listing presentation, I had this little note card, and I said, please, I'm gonna let you know that this is how I stay on track, because I love people and I don't mind talking either. If you ask me a question, we may zoom off somewhere, and I'm gonna leave in a timely fashion, and I haven't gone over these things, then I haven't served you well. And he was like, fine. He gave me permission to use a cheat sheet, right? So I did my whole spiel, and his wife said, okay, so I don't know what my thing was about, all right, you have enough information to hire me now, or do you need more? And he's like, well, I'm a little concerned that, you know, you don't have enough experience. And what I do? Nothing. He didn't ask me a question. There was nothing for me to open my mouth about. His wife said, oh, I don't know. I like her. Still nothing. They're having their own conversation. Nothing. I'm just looking at him. And he goes, all right, let's give it a go. 2 listings. I walked out of there and I was like hyperventilating.
Oh my God, I would have done the same.
Yes. And my broker, who was not, I wasn't KW when I started, she's like, you did what? I cannot believe this worked. I was like, girl, come on, you're the one who sent me the C&E class.
That's crazy.
So it was pretty fun. So it matters. Is this the same thing too? Yeah. All right, these are all duplicates. Okay, starting with your sphere. These aren't matching up, so I'm winging it. I like, my sphere is where all my businesses come from. It's, hey, so-and-so is thinking about buying, I gave your number. Great, what is your question? Do you mind, so that I can keep track of everything? What is their name? What is their number? Would you get their permission for me to call them? I wait for that because, you know, they may not be planning to call, but that's what I do. And then once they give that permission, then I'm on it. What do you need? What can I help you with? And not being super pushy. But that's how I get referrals and asking if they have those. So I like to start with Spear, and that's what Nick has done too, right? Being able to go through your other business that way.
I wanted to ask if you had, I think, was it you that I just talked to in the office about taking the approach as though I don't know anybody here and I'm exploring the possibility of buying leads. Did I just have that conversation with you, Gwen? I feel like that was
No, but you might have had that conversation because of the
boot camp thing.
program that Anna's pushing out.
It was right after that boot camp thing, that social media boot camp, that guy Tom that served mimosas to everybody.
Yes, but I don't think we talked about buying leads, did we?
Well, that's what he was selling, that guy, and I'm just curious about his,
Oh, yeah, I did, I have some other conversations about his stuff too. But yeah, there is a leads program that's being pushed out to the entire market center. Check your email.
all right.
Yeah, it's, they're vetted. Somebody has talked to them already by the time they get to you, but you have to be on your app. You have to be ready to click them. I don't know what it is monthly, and then there's a referral fee you pay out of it.
So they're pretty like warm then.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're paying for them and paying a referral fee, they've got to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Which that's probably a decent investment.
I'm doing it. It's
Yeah.
relatively
How
inexpensive.
has that worked?
Well, it's funny, I've only gotten one lead pushed to me, and it partly is because I can't seem to get on the app because I've got other things
Okay.
going on.
Yeah.
And you need your phone, the app open, and so that you can click when the lead comes in, you can click it quick.
Yeah.
And if I walk away, I'll snooze it and then go to the bathroom. I don't want to answer a lead. I'm like going to the
So,
bathroom.
are they not exclusive then?
No, they are. It's just yours. So,
Oh.
but it's in a rotation based on your score. So based on your score, you may get it first, and then you click it, and then it comes straight to you. It's not going, but if you don't click it, it might go to Michael. I mean, like it's whoever clicked it first, that's the
I see,
exclusivity.
I see.
Yeah.
You're just gonna sit there with your app open waiting for it. Interesting.
Yeah, I talked to Anna tomorrow about that at 1 o'clock, I think.
You're gonna give it to me for free?
Maybe,
What you got for me?
I don't know.
Bring in another agent?
If you could pull it up, though, share it with the class.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, let me get to where I am here. Let me see where this is while we wait for. I wish this stuff and that stuff was the same. I'm not using this, but it helps me know how much more I've got based on the stack. Here we go. All right, see, while we wait we're not really waiting for Zach, but we're gonna make him feel like we did. Do y'all have any ahas on this?
No, I'd say you covered the value proposition pretty good. I think we all have that. I think you develop that over time.
Yeah.
You know, as you get into it, even running for office, I had my slogan really quick, but then you start really, and I always knew what I believed, and I haven't changed anything, but how do you articulate that
Yeah.
in like maybe 1 or 2 sentences?
Mhm.
Because the big question I always get, why are you running? And so you better have an answer for that.
Yeah.
And so, that took a little bit more really in-depth thinking, and it was always there, But it's one thing to have it here, but with coming out, I mean, how are you going, and making it small and concise.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to ramble on with anything, with any industry.
Right, it's an elevator pitch.
Yes, absolutely,
Do it in a sentence.
exactly. So
Yeah, what district are you in?
61, which is over by Southlands, I think Michael's in my district.
Oh, okay.
And,
It's funny, this morning I was like, I bet David's coming, I'm gonna look and see what my district is, because I didn't know.
yeah,
Like,
I had a phone interview with the Denver Post last Friday about the competitiveness of this district. There's about 5 districts that are super, super competitive, like it could go either way.
Yeah.
Because there's equal amounts of Democrats, Republicans, and like 28,000 in my district, unaffiliated. And so, yeah, and that's the way it is statewide, but it's more so in my district, you know. But statewide, we have like 45% unaffiliated. So they always determine the election.
yeah,
And so our parties, and especially me, hasn't really gone after the independents this year.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and so is my opponent. It's just.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where it'll swing for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it'll be coming down to the wire here last 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
check my mail as it is, I'm definitely not checking it in the next 4 weeks.
You're gonna be getting a lot of mailers.
I'm like, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
I know
Yeah.
my team, we have at least 5 going out from me. So over the next,
oh, yeah,
we have a commercial that's going out. We target them based on IP addresses. So it goes to their smart TV.
yeah,
Yeah, it's all targeted now.
yeah, oh, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you have to use the old school stuff, the mailer.
The old school
Just to
stuff,
be
the
able to
mailer,
get
the door
people
knocking with
on.
the hangers, that type of stuff with door hangers. You know,
Yeah.
we were talking about that yesterday and how that's very much a transferable skill with real estate. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you know, I don't know how many agents still do that, but my gosh, you at least need to know your area, farm your area a little bit to get the word out, for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if you need to hit all the neighborhoods I've hit, but you want to be able to definitely you
Yeah.
know, get out there.
well, there's definitely even when, I can't remember if I voted for this guy or not, but I remember him walking. And the fact that I remember him walking the neighborhood is transferable, like you said, because if I'm walking and I'm branded and I have something that I can leave with them that has my name on it, they're gonna remember me.
Yep.
Because even like Remind, who tells you if somebody's thinking about moving because of what they've been doing online, they still are gonna need an agent.
Yeah.
Do you know, I had somebody, it was the Op City one, this lead that I got from this thing I was just talking about. They moved into their house in January. They're listing their house with me. And went on Realtor.com to find an agent. Their agent is only 9 months old from closing them.
Wow. Yeah,
Lost opportunity.
Yeah.
But they have a balloon,
yeah, okay. Yeah,
so,
Yeah.
you know, they don't do things like we did.
that's
I mean, not everybody here does it that way, but this is the way we teach you to do it.
sure.
You've got to stay top of mind. Absolutely gotta stay. Did y'all hear that? This agent basically lost the listing that I'm gonna be picking up. In 9 months, they lost it. Probably because if it's in their CRM, they don't plan on reconnecting with them
For another year or so.
for another year.
Yeah.
And she went on Realtor.com and found me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, don't let that be you.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Don't make me come over there. Okay, so there's 3 steps to define your value proposition. Kind of what we've been talking about, and we're talking about how it evolves. You know, you've got to know how you benefit your client. What do you bring to the table? If you don't know, you don't know, and neither does your client. You've got to know how you set yourself apart. And I skip that. That was my own, like, you can be a pompous, it's like overconfident. And to the right client, that's gonna sell well. You know, don't don't not be yourself, and at the same time, you might need to be yourself at a 2 instead of yourself at a 10.
Yeah,
That makes sense?
yeah.
So what qualifies you to be a great real estate agent for this client? Or for your group of clients? If you're going after the veterans, which for a hot minute, because I love veterans, what makes me connect with them? Well, then it took, like I said, it took me a hot minute to go, I don't connect with them near as much. It would take me way too much time to try to connect with that market when other people who are veterans.
Mhm.
My ex is a veteran. I admire the lifestyle, and I've lived that lifestyle. And I know the suck, I know the good, you know what I mean? But that's not enough, I didn't feel like, to overcome y'all that have been in it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't-
And I'm way outside of it now,
Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, I think that that's enough. I mean,
to know the suck.
yeah,
Totally
and
enough.
just to know that it's just a different clientele and they have different challenges, and just understanding that and appreciating that. I wouldn't sell yourself short on that at all.
Well,
You
so I decided, it's not that I wouldn't,
Yeah.
but that wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the niche that I would go after.
Yeah, because my agent, I sold my house, the 187,000 that we got a whopping 215.
Yeah,
She wasn't a vet herself, but she had enough experience with the military community.
right.
And I'm here and she's there, and so she's handling everything for me. And so when you're talking about what sellers want, what I wanted her is just to give me advice on what the market is, what's an acceptable price to really accept, because timing was everything down there. It finally went up. So I think we listed it for like 218, 220. It came in at 215, but all cash. She goes, take it. She goes, take it.
Yeah,
Don't, she goes, don't even waste time, take it, because they're all cash.
Yeah.
And so, and we got that the first day. She
Wow.
listed it, it went on the market one day. Like that.
Wow.
She did a great job with the showing, because everything was moved out.
Yeah.
Because my previous tenant had moved out a month before, so I had to eat 1 month's worth of rent, with room mortgage or whatever. And then
clean
she
it up.
went in, it was all clean, and she went in, brought in furniture, like little knickknacks and stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Beautiful display, beautiful setup, and like I said, within one day, 24 hours, all
Yeah.
cash offer. She goes, don't fight it with the 5,000, take 215 all cash.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's what I needed as a seller,
Absolutely.
but she didn't have a military background.
And that's her expertise in her market.
Yes.
You could be, you will become an expert
Mhm.
here, but not there.
Right.
Like when we look at out-of-state investments, I'm not the expert in Louisiana.
Right.
I know I can get 3 properties for 150. It's a thing.
That's just nuts.
I know, right? But I have no idea if they're gonna be drowning next September
Sure.
in Louisiana.
No,
It's
that's-
a possibility and probability, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why I need somebody else who's
Yeah.
boots. And you have to vet those really, really, really well. I know that went really well too. Okay, so, and then the value of KW, what do you know about KW? What makes them different than the balloon people? Or the place that agents go to die?
It's a big technology company now.
Big tech. Yep, we syndicate to more people than anybody else, over 400. Don't ask me what that list is, but most people don't care what that list really is. But we're worldwide, we're the largest, we're the biggest in luxury as well. So, yeah, go ahead. So know what the benefits are, and even for this market center. If I did have like a veteran, I'm like, well, a handful of people that I'd know how to find out the answer to that question. So use your resources. And now we could build out our value proposition. Oh, we could role play that. Do you guys have any? Already you're saying, oh, I really like that. I would peg Nick as that somehow your value proposition is gonna be around building wealth whether it's first-time home buyers or everybody's building wealth if you own a home. But it's different when you're helping somebody take the home they had, draw equity, enough equity, but not too much equity, and then move it over to an investment property. And so now you have two and rent that or Airbnb that or whatever. So I can see that being part of your value proposition. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I sell rocks for a living and I make a lot of money doing it. So I can definitely sell you a house and help you understand the idea of building. Nobody needs a rock. Everyone needs a house, you know? But yes, I agree with you. Wealth building through, I'm all about building financial stability. I like the term wealth building because everyone wants to be wealthy, but I think really what the part about being wealthy that everybody wants is just the calm sense of financial stability and independence.
Yeah. Well, I half got you a tagline. I've sold you a rock, now let's get a house on it, or something like that.
It's literally how it's gone already so far. Yeah, and I'm just on the precipice of that. I actually dialed it back a little because I got asked a few questions at a mineral dealer dinner that put me on the spot, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready to answer these questions. I need to get a little more educated before I'm
No,
sitting at the head of a table with a bunch of interested people.
I'll be your wingman. But you don't have, please don't think that you have to know everything in order to do something. If you do, it will cripple you because you can't possibly know everything. Learn as you go. Jack Canfield wrote a big fat book that I audibled and it took me months. But that's one of the things that it says, don't wait until you know everything. You'll learn by doing as you go. I butchered that quote, but that's exactly what he said. So you
And
just
since
learn
you
as
just-
you go. Here's what you need to memorize, Nick. That's a great question. Let me get back to you on that. What's your phone number?
Right.
You see my hand? You see my hand? I'm like ready to write. And you're pausing and you're ready to write until they give it to you. Because now you have a reason to call them back.
Yep.
If you have all the answers, fake it. I don't know everything, even if I did, fake it.
Yeah.
So you have a reason to call them back.
I think that's the biggest, I mean, I'm glad that we're having this conversation because I think that's the biggest thing that what you just said can hurt anybody in any industry. I mean, I have 4 degrees, including a PhD. When I taught, my history classes and, students would ask me a question, I didn't have all the answers. And I would tell them like, that's fantastic. Let me look that up before we get to you next time.
Yeah.
And that's what you got, because if you start thinking you have to have all the knowledge, you'll drive yourself crazy.
And you
can't.
won't start.
But the expert is being able to find the information for that person and following back up.
Yeah.
That makes you the expert.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Say, he's like, I don't know anything about, I think he said, I don't know anything about building cars. I just have all the people around me who do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I butchered that one too. And again, you get the premise of what he said, don't
Yeah.
about the people that you have around you. Absolutely.
And there's so many good people here.
Mhm.
And this is the reputation of this office, because I had interviewed with other agencies, including Thrive, the boutique one. that,
Yeah.
And I interviewed with them back in December, January, and they even said, even if you don't go with us, the Lone Tree KW office has the best education.
Stop it. Really?
I heard the same thing
There
too.
was a guy that worked here and went to Thrive, and he had said that to me, and I forget his name.
Wow.
And
I've heard that too, other places. Yeah.
What? Okay, so when y'all hear that, this is another side piece that my head goes.
So funny.
Slip those names of people who have accolades like that are not with us.
Oh my gosh, profit share.
Right.
What are we
Thank
doing?
you.
What are we
Exactly.
doing?
Because if
What are we
it's
doing?
us, what are they getting there that they weren't getting here or they don't think they'll get here? Because like a Thrive, there is a system now inside of Keller Williams that lets you be autonomous under our umbrella. And you would get that whole team
Mhm.
or that whole office
Wow, that's, yeah.
for profit share.
Wow.
Yeah, boom,
Stop
right?
madness right there.
And with that, I'm out. No. All right, so we should role play this, and I think it's developed over time. I'm probably butchering what they want me to. I feel like I must like own a cat or something, and I don't. So ahas, do you think that as you're going through your own value proposition for your real estate business, you think it's, you know what your value proposition would be, or do you need to look through those items and see if you are different in any sort of way? Do you feel like you need to know how other people are doing it first? You know what I'm saying?
I think
How is it?
I mean, obviously you need to get educated on what you need to, or what you should propose to somebody, but I think it goes back to like, you gotta stay true to who you are, what you're willing to do. Like, if you don't have expertise in a certain field, maybe educate yourself on it. Like, I'll just speak for me, like, when I look at that, I'm like, I could pull social media all over this, because I've been in I've done brand marketing for so many companies at this point. I get giddy about this because I'm hands-on. So when I already just look at a value proposition for a buyer, let's say, I'm like, all the things I could set. And also, here's the other thing, when I I probably have been trying to set like 4 to 6 different Zoom calls with different agents throughout the US, and I
Yeah.
pick up different things. And like, some of them are like, yeah, I don't, I had one guy who works for Mile High Modern, I should have said that, but I asked him about like open houses, do you post it on social media? And he was like, no, it doesn't do anything. And instead of me reacting and saying, well, that's stupid, or excuse me, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, that's the first thing you should do, that get your open house out there so people can see it. And so like, when I look at that, I'm like, there's so many things that I could do personally that would set myself.
Well, did he not do open houses, or he didn't post his open houses?
He doesn't post his open houses because he
But he
has
tried.
done that in the past and hasn't gotten value from it.
Yeah.
Well, what works 5 months ago might not work now, and vice versa.
Well, and I would say that if I post an open house, probably it's not gonna go very far, because it's like wow, a lot of analogies went through my head, all inappropriate. But you're just like shouting into the cave, you're
Mhm.
not, it's not going anywhere, because that's what's important about social media. You gotta build the road that
Mhm.
you're now then gonna put something important on it, and then it'll go out. But if you're not actively doing the social
Engaged.
media things and making sure your engagement's up with the likes and the posts and the DMs and all that, then it's true. So it might be true for him.
Sure.
So when you ask another question, are you active on social media otherwise? If he says no, then
Makes sense,
yeah, makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Because that
Such a
would,
It's such a relative point, because the whole social media reality is this sort of instant gratification. People don't take time to come find you. You have to keep popping up in their feeds, right? Like, and the only way you do that is through post engagement. That's how you get seen more, right? And so you can't get good post engagement if you don't have lots of top content. I mean, there's a million courses you can take on just how to develop online, social media engagement, because if you post once a month, like, I don't hardly post on my social media at all. Everything happens through direct messages. I still use Instagram, but I use it to send people pictures. I don't post a lot of stuff. And my friend who posts a lot of stuff sells the same shit I sell for twice as much as I sell it for. So I just sell it to him for what I need for my markup to be, and then he sells it to end user customer. I'm basically a wholesaler because I just deal to other dealers, But if I was able to engage my audience like he does, he puts, 3 reels and 20 story posts a day up. And that's why he has 5,000 people hitting him up every time he tries to sell the same piece I tried to sell 2 weeks ago, and only one person asked me about it,
hey,
Very
Nick,
real. Consistency, yes.
yesterday, Ricky talked about your schedule, right?
Mhm.
My schedule or his, or in general? Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Well, you all have a schedule, whether you follow one or not, you have one. You get up at a certain time, you do X, Y, Z,
Yeah.
go to lunch, whatever your thing is, right? You're I would challenge you, more than likely, you can't rip off and duplicate that dude.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It just takes the
Or
discipline.
change your mindset to say, you know what? I like what he's doing over there. I'm not gonna do it in my rock business because I wanna do it in my real estate business. And ask him, say, hey, look, you know, Steve, I like what you're doing on social and it's working for me because I can be the go-team, whatever. But then you're gonna duplicate, tell him that you wanna know how he does what he does so that you can do houses like that.
Yeah, it's just the consistency is what I was trying to point out, is like the guy who didn't see any results from posting open houses on his social. That's because he hasn't tapped into the magic of the consistency of the social networking stuff, you know, so.
Exactly.
That's literally with everything in life. Consistency is
Yeah.
your number one
It's
player.
everything. So we're back to this, and then I want to tell you about something Michael popped in and wanted me to make sure I pointed out for y'all. But this is the consistency. And then I'm not really a papers person. It pained me to do this, but my Remarkable would not update last night. Couldn't get it to work this morning, so I'm like, "Arr!" So I came in here and killed a few trees. And turns out they're printed out already, so I literally killed trees for no reason. But take a copy of this, make it, I have one that's sort of like this, it's like a 66, something about habits, the 66 days to get a habit. So I have one that's laminated and I just check, 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 done. I could write it in my calendar so that I can see my consistency. There are apps for this, by the way, habit trackers, this is what they're called. And then I say, daily success system, check, done. Well, how do you do it? And then you can see, oh, look, I have a poop ton of business in 3 months. Wonder what I did. And you look back at your calendar, you go, you know what? I did this every single day, or Monday through Friday, or whatever it is, but do this. And engagement on your social, engagement around your sphere, engagement, the knowledge that you'll gain from being out there doing. Do not be a learner for learner's sake. Just don't. Okay? Find what works for you and make sure that consistency, get your daily tracker going, absolutely without a doubt. All right? Okay, so Michael wanted me, the rest of this is about the TCPA. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution and people are happy to be in relationship with me. This is another one that's affirmations before you start making your calls. Or however you want to do it. I think the rest of this is role play. Yep. And more of that. So I'm gonna pull up. Somebody sing.
Every kiss begins with K. You said sing. That was the first one.
Gee, well, what in the world?
Oh, that is so great.
Hot and dangerous as you are.
I can't right now. I like how he's doing taglines as are a variety of different things.
There's my mouse is over on the other side.
All right, somebody tell a joke.
That I don't have.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not a joke teller. They like just come up as I talk.
Observation type stuff.
Yeah, yep. Yep,
So
definitely.
if y'all wanna, bros and hats on TikTok.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
And so funny, and they crack each other up.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, they're on YouTube too. but-
I found them on my For You page one day.
Yes.
TikTok is seriously dangerous. Like you can
I
get
know.
swept up into that real quick.
I can't with TikTok because it'll never end. I
It
could
doesn't
just-
end.
Mm-mm. It's a black hole for me. I am just lost. I will watch it all night long and then the sun will come up and no, I'm just kidding. And I'm like, what just happened?
Seriously in bed and just laughing so hard.
Oh yeah, I've done that before and I'm like, I'm sorry if I woke the house up.
I'll tell you, sometimes it's super peaceful watching, and it's typically, it's not men that are making it, but it's typically women that make like soap bars, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then I think maybe I'm in the wrong industry, but like they're talking about how they just got 2 orders over 4 hours, and I'm like, yeah, that's not it.
You know what I really like is to watch the DIY renovations and the upgrades and the interior design stuff that they're doing.
Hey, Melissa, if you like DIY, do you have Instagram?
Yeah.
Follow actually not a woman, it's a family or husband and wife. They own Our Faux Farmhouse, FAUX.
FAUX.
They're
Okay.
they're from Salt Lake City, they're from Austin. They moved to Salt Lake, but
Mhm.
they live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm not even kidding. They've probably bought like 12 different homes in the last 8 years, and each one gets progressively bigger. And they're at like they've got 5 or 6 children. They're in like a 9,000 or 8,000 square foot house, and all they do, like they have brand deals, but the husband just does DIY stuff, and they post it on Instagram, and they're at like 1.2 million followers now.
Oh, I love that. I'll go look them up.
Yeah.
I can't remember the one that they were Fort Myers. And she redid the entire house. It's a little 1950s bungalow. She redid it all. She's a realtor down there. And she redid it all where her husband was deployed. I mean, like, there was nonsense behind their kitchen. She made it like, you couldn't see it. It looked like a pantry, but then it walked around behind the
Oh.
refrigerator and stuff. And that's where, so it made the pantry super big.
Mhm.
She hid her kid's closet with this bamboo striping type thing and then recessed it. I mean, like, girl's great with power tools. She did so
Dang.
much. I didn't follow her until after she'd done the kitchen. So I didn't get to watch that. I'm not go back and watch everything kind of person. So, but I recently just saw, and like, he came home and he was like, you did all this, and he was blown away, and then he jumped in and started helping with the last minute things. They lost it all. Oh, just like, man, I watched her do all this stuff, and
It's gone.
I'm in like seriously knee deep water. And you could see the love and, just props that she got all over her comments, she's like, we watched you do this and I can't believe it. She's just like,
What
it
can you
is
do?
what it is.
Yeah.
It's just stuff. But
That's-
it was heartbreaking. I was just like in the bed going, oh my gosh, oh my God.
Mhm.
I'm like, I've never been through anything like that.
Yeah.
And we don't have that here.
Yeah.
We're not gonna, I mean.
Hail is like the only thing that's damaging
no,
here.
we're
It's like,
Sure, we can survive the hail. I mean, so far, so good. We could have a house fire. I had a friend of mine in my neighborhood who was like, oh my gosh, this devastation.
I was
Yeah,
literally about to say that. You
Yeah.
don't think of it, and then that Boulder fire.
I know, and that was through a neighborhood.
No.
That
Or
was,
down in Colorado Springs, how that came up there.
Black Forest, that fire?
No, the one on the west
Waldo,
side of the.
Waldo
Yeah, Waldo
fire? Yeah,
Canyon.
that was
Yeah,
crazy.
So it came up, okay, y'all, this is gonna tell you a little bit about my relationship with my husband. But we're down on the east side of the highway with the binoculars and this is years ago, so my kids were,
Oh,
I think my
no.
youngest is, I don't remember how many years ago it was, but they were bored and all that. And he's looking through the binoculars, it's like, this is cool. He's looking at it from a dude's perspective. It's cool because it's fire. But I'm not a dude. And all I saw was all those little kids, this and all their shit going up in flames. And it was,
Oh.
the binoculars were so powerful, you could see stuff melting and you could see couches exploding. And I'm like, oh, I was so mad. And he's mad at me because I wasn't appreciating the moment. I'm like, you're a sicko. What the heck?
And I'm sure you guys probably have discussed this, but from the political side, when that happened up in Boulder, your insurance, covers you, but it doesn't cover you for the increased cost to
Yes.
rebuild.
To
So
rebuild.
now you're displaced from your community in your neighborhood that you've been living in.
Yeah.
Because you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars gap
Yeah.
between what your house that you got, the money for, but now you want to rebuild, you just don't have the money.
Yeah.
So you have to leave it, and if you got kids in school there, you gotta leave that. And so that's an issue that, has been brought up by various lobbyist groups for the legislature. I mean, so how do you compensate? How do you deal with that? Yeah.
That's so sad.
It is.
I remember when Southlands had that tornado too.
Oh, yeah.
I had told my son that we don't have tornadoes in Colorado. We didn't have any, I mean, it's not that we don't have them. It's just they weren't that common before that. And so I figured, he'll get older and we'll have that conversation. He was little. So I was like, but he was a very smart little boy. And so we were driving back from the airport, dropping off his dad. And we look forward and he goes, Mom, is that a tornado? And I was like, it is.
We have them in Kansas and
Yeah.
Southlands is Kansas.
When you look east,
Yes.
Kansas.
Yes, it is.
There it is. Okay, so Michael wanted me to point this out to you. The business planning clinic that's coming next door in 2 weeks, the 19th, I think it is, yeah. Business planning is huge for your business. We will do some business planning in here. I don't want you to think, oh, you made me pay $100 for this thing. We will do some business planning, but the level that they do this business planning is spectacular. It will blow up. To say that it'll blow up your business is accurate. And at the same time, the reason it will blow up your business, because you'll know exactly what you're looking for. You'll know who your clients are. You'll know how to go after them, all of that. So do you want to know, it's $100, but you can bring a friend to this and Michael will help.
Oh,
With
that's
this.
cool.
Yeah, so,
But doesn't this overlap with the Ignite because it's Wednesday?
I hope not, because I'm going.
Yeah, it definitely does.
It
It's the
definitely
last
does.
week too.
So we might have to, no, it's not the last week. This is the week, isn't this the week that we don't have it because of spring break?
No, I have it in my calendar, the 12th through the 14th and the 19th through the 21st, and that's when it apparently ends. Because this
No,
one-
we don't have it. Ignite isn't the week of fall break, which is the
This week.
17th through.
Oh.
17th to the 21st. is-
Yeah.
It's fall
Oh,
break for
okay.
a lot of people,
That's great.
Douglas County.
So does Ignites? Oh, wow, it did
It's
change.
a 3-week class,
Okay,
but it's 2 weeks, skip a week and 1 week.
okay,
Yeah, you see me again
copy that.
tomorrow and at the end. So, you can click through, I can email it to all of you, but you probably already have it in your email. Just look up Michael Manley. I'm sure you got it pushed through by front desk. From Amy not long ago. What date is this that it came through?
Have you noticed like a substantial decrease in Wi-Fi today in this?
Oh my gosh, this Wi-Fi is horrible, so I hope not.
I have never seen it like this, ever. Well,
Somebody asked me the other day if I was wired in, and I'm like, is that a thing? I will find an Ethernet, really?
yeah.
So, yeah, I would really, really, really love to see you all there. It is gonna be powerful. All in, that's my ticket that I'm showing you, so 104. You go back, view, let me
Just
get
sell
the
some
event
feedbacks.
details and see if it gives you more information.
I
So-
did not get the email.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
If you go to kwcoloradoevents.com, that's something that you should hang on to. These are, a lot of times they're paid events, but they're regional things. These will sit somewhere other than with us that you know, and pick people's brain. What's your business like? How long have you been here? Have you been with KW the whole time? All of that. You know, David's gonna be like, who lives in Southlands?
Yeah, absolutely. So many of my contacts are all like lobbyists and all
Oh,
that type
yeah.
of stuff from all over. And
For
so
sure.
obviously all the delegates, the volunteer precinct leaders, yeah,
Yeah,
that's, you know.
all right, so here's more information, and here's the convenience of it, it's next door. So here's the about this. Based on the latest research of the book, the MREA, so it has been rewritten, it just hasn't been pushed out to us. And specifically covers the 5 key business models. I'm not gonna read this to you because y'all.
I'm in.
But,
Let's send it.
powerful.
Wait, can you send this email? Can you forward this, or is this somewhere that I can find it?
At kwcoloradoevents.com. Oh, wait, let me see if I can do it right here.
You can also find it, hey Gwen, you can also find it in our calendar if they go to the My KW and the intranet of 89 and click on calendar.
Oh, it is in the calendar.
It's there and they can register there too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in here.
So register first. If, I'll go find out from Michael exactly what he'll do, but I think Ricky's just bringing somebody and that's how he got a free ticket. So
Oh,
it's not
Ricky.
2 free tickets. You get them enrolled into this and then go talk to Michael, or I can help you talk to Michael about getting your ticket paid for because you brought somebody. And then you make sure that you introduce them, your guest, okay? Make sure they're quality people. Don't be bringing junk in here.
Just
All right.
find one off the street.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, what?
Says a lot about me.
That's right.
What? It was a
Y'all have any
connection.
questions about the day or?
So I can bring somebody to this thing, is what you're saying? Is that right? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to cut and paste this as we go. I can bring my wife / partner in crime with me to this thing.
Absolutely. She'll need a ticket.
So you got to buy 2 tickets, not just one. It's not buy a ticket and bring
Well,
someone along.
We're looking for you to invite another agent.
Uh-huh.
Would be a match for the office. That's the idea. Whether you can bring a guest that's unlicensed.
My purpose is that we keep talking about, does it make sense for her to get licensed too? Because she has all kinds of lead gen opportunity and like the sewing circle kind of stuff she does that I'm not a part of, right? So,
The
Right.
answer is always yes.
it costs a couple grand a year to be licensed, right? So it's a decision we have to make as a family. Does it make sense for her to get licensed to help with admin stuff and lead gen stuff? And it feels like the right idea, but I'm like, right now, she's been sitting next to me all day watching this just because we're trying to understand, like, what's the, does it seem like the right thing to do for us to go double down on our sort of part-time approach to bringing real estate into our world,
Well, if you're both part-time, wouldn't that be full-time?
That's what I'm feeling, right? But it also costs twice as much as being a single agent to do that, right? We got
So
twice
I
the
have
office
a-
fees, twice the whatever,
In our coaching group, because I'm in Ricky's Megaminds or Masterminds coaching group, or maybe it's Megaminds. Anyways, there was a really, really, really successful single agent. And he was trying to figure out the best way to grow his business. And he brought his wife into it, and they have become the leaders, some of the biggest leaders in Tampa, Florida. They now also are licensed in Louisiana. They have investment properties all over, and she's been in for a year. And it's because he got her licensed and dipped into her sphere and her level of influence and ran with it. So
people
Just
like
food
her
for
more
thought.
than they like me, so that's kind of part of it,
Okay, so here's what I would say. Whatever it costs, what are you gonna put in? Are you gonna ride the pine? Because no, it's not worth it. There's no point in having you both ride the pine.
Right. Well, that's kind of the point here, is I feel like because,
Hell yeah, it's worth it. What do you need? One deal?
right. And then the question becomes, do we build a team or are we independent? You know, I don't really understand the dynamic between having like the Connolly team, for example, which is really just her and I working together versus her and I being independently licensed agents, right?
I would say you have a conversation with like Michael, somebody
Yeah.
who's already done a team. And the benefit or versus the,
Risk versus reward kind of thing.
well, I don't know that there's a risk necessarily, but there's cap splits that can be different. And what does that mean for you? As a husband and wife team, I don't know what that means exactly. You know,
Right, well, we don't want to pay into the cap twice. Right, we don't want to each have to cap independently of each other if we're working as a team, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Right,
yeah, there's different dynamics when you're looking at that and building your business and what that looks like.
Right.
Maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't mind doing it and the benefit of doing that way.
right,
So that's where I would have that conversation with somebody who is building a team and especially a husband and wife team. And
right.
that's the Talafuse team, because they're husband and wife, and did they do that when it was just the two of them? Because I know a little bit about their dynamics, but they have a third person, so I don't know if that's when that changed or not. I talked to
Right.
Michael about it, say, look, here's what I'm thinking about doing. How would we structure this? How's the best way to structure it? He'll know, he's been in the business for a long time.
Right,
And he has a team.
Right. right.
With
Not
two-
just a team, but a successful team.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't think Ryan and Co, his wife was his admin and she's not licensed.
Right,
There's different things. I have a really good friend who's in the office and the wife is doing much of the lead gen and stuff. And on a daily, I'm like, y'all have got to be careful. You are dancing a line that I am really afraid for you
because she's not licensed, you're saying.
because she's not licensed.
Right, and I mean, really, you're only talking about what is your annual, it's like $1,500 or $2,000 or something with all the office fees and the continued ed and all that crap that goes with it. It's just not that bad. If it's one deal that she makes through a yoga friend, then it was worth all the cost, you know?
Yep, I mean, you gotta look at what is the plan? Is your plan for her to do one deal just to be able to pay for the cost of her license? Or are you looking at, you can't handle 50 deals alone, and so you need some help?
Well, that's where we're trying to get, but I've got 2 deals under my belt. So, you know, that's a next year problem, the 50 deals.
I think we just need to work on expanding your mind.
Yeah,
And
I'm a big fan, big fan.
Get there,
You can do whatever you put your mind to.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've thought small for a while too. I mean, like, it just depends on what, I've looked at my husband's getting his license so that he could even get the referrals. What if she knows people in other states and then she can earn referrals?
Exactly. I mean, that's what I have one of those coming through today. I'm getting my first out-of-state referral paperwork signed today, so I get it. Yeah.
But if she's not licensed, she can't do that. You can.
Right.
You know, I had an agent with a balloon that used to be in this office. And he asked me to get licensed so that I could give him my people. He goes, I just know you know a lot of people.
Right.
I'm like, all right, well, let me math that up. And I was like, what in the world? And then 2 years later, he's mad at me, not even in 2 years. I had forgotten about this conversation and he was mad that I got my license because that's what he was asking me to do, just so that he could pay me referrals. Because otherwise you can only pay like, you know, a thank you or something. I don't know, it's like cheap, $500 maybe, but referrals a lot more. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna give you part of your day back. You don't have other questions? Got 11 minutes to ask them.
I gotta go get headshot ready.
Nice.
Thanks for your time today, Gwen. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Of course, I'll see you tomorrow too.
Thank
I
you
think
so
I'm,
much.
I'm gonna try and get down there. You guys, how many folks are showing up down there in person? Because that's what I wanted to do this morning, but I slept through my alarm.
There's 2 of us, 3 of us.
I'll try and get down there tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll
You
be
guys
there
all have,
tomorrow, too.
you guys all have a great day.
Yeah, y'all too.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks, Gwen.
Thanks for
Bye.
coming.
What time do you wake up in the morning? You an early riser?
Nah, you know, it just depends. If the girlfriend's over, it's whatever.
I got you.